they maybe took some teams by surprise last year. Well, this year they come in, they're the hunted. They're the biggest game on a lot of teams' schedules. And so they also looked at all the film of last year and how to better defend Jalen Hurts. And then, look, the offensive line has not been as good this year. They have not been able to run the ball as well as they did last year. And they really only have 2 receiver options, and then Dallas Goedert, the very good tight end. So, look, the offense just isn't as good as last year. And you've seen these last couple weeks especially, the 49ers and Cowboys, they both had this game against the Eagles circled on their calendar. That was the biggest game of the year for both those teams. So, look, I think they took the best shot from both those teams, and I think you're going to see a better Jalen Hurts over the next month. Now, maybe not tonight. I don't think he's going to be 100%. He's going to kind of grind through it, but I do think they'll try to run the ball a little more balanced with the passing attack and start to look better because, hey, they're facing some losing teams now. The last 4 games are against losing teams. So I think it'll correct itself a little bit. But number one, you're right. He cannot turn the ball over like he has. 15 turnovers. That's way too much.
John Clark joining us, NBC Philadelphia, getting ready for the Seahawks and the Eagles from Seattle. And again, Jalen Hurts fighting an illness. Geno Smith might not play as well. But maybe the biggest change, and I think the biggest change, you would know a lot better than I would, is the way the defense is playing. And now Sean Desai, who was in Seattle, and now Matt Patricia is going to take over and call the defense at this point of the season. How big of a deal is that?
Yeah, I mean, this defense over the last month has been arguably the worst defense in the NFL. Giving up over 33 points a game, worst third down defense, red zone's bad. So I think what happened here is, you hear from the players, they have leadership groups, and the head coach and everybody else meets with the leadership groups. And I'm sure they were hearing that maybe there just wasn't as much confidence in the scheme and the plan every week with Sean Desai as the defensive coordinator. So I think what they're doing here is they say, well, we brought in Matt Patricia after we hired Sean Desai, and he has all this experience, especially in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, and they're going to give him a shot to call the defense and basically run the defense. And I'm sure that's going to be that way for the rest of the year. So, I think you need to get more out of your defensive front. I think you need to have some exotic blitzes. You need to get some better pressure packages. And when you have all that money in your defensive line and you're not getting what you need, they look to the defensive coordinator. And look, in hindsight, I believe they should have kept the secondary coach, Denard Wilson, as the coordinator. And a lot of the guys wanted that, but he wound up going to the Ravens, and they hired Sean Desai. And Sean didn't have a whole ton of success in the past. And so I think they said, you know what, we can't waste this year because of a defense like this. We need to try something different. So hopefully Matt Patricia will do a better job with this defense.
And he's been on the staff all year, obviously, as a senior defensive assistant. And Matt Patricia knows how to make it cloudy for a young quarterback. And we'll see if it's Drew Lock tonight for Seattle, or whether it's the veteran Geno Smith. Just overall, I mean, it'll help Matt Patricia a lot if Darius Slay, Big Play Slay, was going to play, but he's not going to play tonight. So how are they going to line up? They're already light, the nickelback. Bradley Roby is just okay, and Eli Ricks has been exposed. Who are they going to play as the outside corner? Will it be Ricks outside and Roby in the slot? How are they going to line up minus Big Play Slay tonight, John?
Yeah, that is a big loss tonight. I think that you will see Keely Ringo line up in Darius's spot because I think they like what he's doing at practice. They like his speed. They like his youth. One of the things the Eagles defense needs is some more speed and athleticism, and that's what he has. But this is a monster assignment tonight. The secondary has been struggling all year, and you're going to have to face DK Metcalf, who just crushes the Eagles every time he sees them. And then you got Tyler Lockett, and you got a couple of other decent weapons. So that's going to be the biggest thing I'm going to watch for the Eagles defense tonight, because I do think I do think they're going to be able to stop the run tonight against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I don't think, are a great running team, and I think that they'll get more pressure than they have. But I think that's the key, the secondary, because I think DK Metcalf, he usually torches the Eagles. He had a career high against them, 177 yards, I believe, the last time they saw him 3 years ago. So, the Seahawks may get some passing yards, but I think that's going to be it. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on the Eagles tonight.
I would agree, and I remember that playoff game he had there, too, in Philadelphia. He's always played well against him. And like you said, 7 straight to the Seahawks, haven't won in Seattle in 15 years. But as you said, the Eagles, as you tweeted out, have been the best on the road in the last couple of years, so it should be a good one. John, we know you're busy, and you're hitting the top of the hour, so we appreciate a few minutes. Thanks, man.
Hey, you guys are the best. Good talking to you. And once again, I'll leave you with this. See you next month.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you in the South Bay, not South Philly, in late January, John Clark, and I'll buy you dinner. I will buy you dinner myself.
Make sure he gets it. Make sure he gets that. No,
He's gone.
You're very generous.
It's gonna rain tonight in Seattle, huh? What a shocker!
What?
It's raining right now.
Yeah.
Another rain game on Monday Night Football.
He's right about DK. Certain guys against certain teams, man. He was a rookie, and they won in Philadelphia in a divisional game, and then he's played really well against the Eagles in the past, and they've got good receivers. The one thing, they haven't been able to run it, like you said, but the Eagles are going to have Matt Patricia, and again, the big story is, will Jalen Hurts play flu-like symptoms, and Geno Smith may not play. Patricia may, as you said, kind of muddy it up a little bit for Drew Lock if that is indeed the case.
They're going to start Keely Ringo, the rookie round 4 pick out of Georgia, on the outside with Bradbury. And Roby in the slot. Sanjay Lal, the passing game coordinator of Seattle, is salivating.
Yeah.
Just get the ball out of your hands. And
Reed Blankenship had a concussion. I guess he's back. So anyway, but they are banged up back there.
They could put Sidney Brown. He plays a little nickel back. I'm not sure how they're going to align their corners tonight. That's going to be a problem without Slay.
Again, huge game. We're not just talking to John because we like him, which we do, but if the Eagles lose, it's essentially a 2-game lead for the 49ers, having beaten the Eagles and the Cowboys. So huge a game tonight in Seattle as far as the 49ers are concerned. All right, we got some remnants coming up you do not want to miss, including I got a good story for you. We'll get into that coming up next. Only here at the top of the hour, we got Tolbert and Copes on the Sports Leader.
seam hits, filter out the noise, and kick it with KNBR on the gram for everything Giants. Follow the sports leader on Instagram at KNBR.
Hello, Giants. My name is Jung-Hoo Lee, grandson of the wind from Korea. First, I would like to thank the Johnson family, Larry, Farhan, and Pete. Also, special thank you my lawyer, Scott Boras, and Boras Corporation. I'm honored to share this day with my mother and father, and thank you for helping to achieve my dream to play in MLB. I always have loved the Bay Area from coming here as a young ball player. I am here to win and will always give my best for teammates and fans. Let's go, Giants!
That was, I know you
Let's go, Giants!
on
He's
Friday,
got
but
personality.
man, that exactly right. And then he went to the Warriors game on Saturday night against the Nets. He's already jumping into the lifestyle. But man, that was ballsy. I mean, you and I have talked
He did
about
a
this
good
many
job.
times. A lot of players, if this isn't their native tongue, they are not doing that. And that was pretty cool, man. That was cool. He did.
Well,
that.
we carried it live. We heard it
Yeah.
right here live on KNBR, the flagship of the Giants, and he stole the show. And he had the interpreter later on, but he opened the show by speaking English. And it's Ichiro was never comfortable doing that, and this guy's from South Korea, and to be able to command the language the way he did, I thought it was really entertaining. Farhan did not say a whole lot. He kind of got in the back, and even Scott Boras, so I thought was going to kind of carry it quite a bit. It was Jung-Hoo Lee and his interpreter that did a great job. And he's got to have how he plays. And just talking to Marty Lurie over the weekend, Marty's really high on him and think he's going to be an impactful player and be a tone setter for the offense with his speed and hand-eye coordination, bat-to-ball coordination, and be able to get on base and on-base percentage and track him down in center. And we'll see what other moves they make, John. But he's engaging. One thing about Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if you watched his presser the day before.
Yeah.
It was awkward for a lot of it. He's just a different guy. He's so serious. He wouldn't answer the question whether or not he had Tommy John surgery or not. And is it the internal brace, the way Brock Purdy and Nick Mullins repaired their torn UCLs? It's different for a baseball pitcher, certainly, than a quarterback. But this guy's got personality. And this team really, they need a personality like Jung-Hoo Lee. So that was great to hear.
It was, and lots of rumors still around the Giants again until Yamamoto signs. The pitching market, at least at the top, looks like it's going to freeze. He's meeting with the Yankees and Mets again. The Giants are supposedly still in on these talks, but we have not heard. But he is on the East Coast apparently, and so we'll see there. And if something can get shook free there, then maybe they'll start with some other signings like Blake Snell and so forth. So we'll keep you up to date on that. And oh, by the way, from Omaha Productions, for the Eagles at the Seahawks, and we just talked to our friend John Clark about the game, and we know how important it is as far as the 49ers are concerned with an eye towards it, and not because of the Seahawks, but because of the Eagles. Do you know who guest number one is tonight?
Philadelphia theme or Seattle?
Your favorite MVP candidate, Christian McCaffrey, is guest number one tonight.
Is Brock Purdy number two?
No, unfortunately.
See, Brock's already studying the Baltimore Ravens defense. He's moved on to Baltimore.
Yeah, but it should be like politics. You're going to give equal time to Christian McCaffrey. You should give it to Brock Purdy. But for some reason, it's Case Keenum, who's now the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans. And then ESPN's Mina Kimes for guest three.
Well, Christian McCaffrey's coming up in the second quarter?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey.
Wow. And you know what they're going to promote is the fact that Brock Purdy will be on Monday Night Football the following week, which happens to be Christmas night. How ginormous is this game with Baltimore winning, and they're 11-3, and the Niners are 11-3, and the top two seeds in each conference? This is one of the biggest late-season, regular season games we've ever had,
No
and it's
question.
on Monday Night Football on Christmas night? Wow.
Yes. Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, it's a huge one. By the way, you may be wondering, on a Monday, I'm always in studio. I'm at home today. Outbreak of COVID in the house. Wife and
boy.
stepson. I am stuck out here I love the studio, but I have been here for about coming up on about 48 straight hours. And all the Christmas presents were hidden in here, so it's Christmas presents all over, fold-out couch, and me in this little room. So
it's coming back around this fall.
Yeah,
there's no
it
doubt.
is. So be careful out there
Well,
because
you'll be
that's
fine. So am I going to
the
see you
deal.
this week or no? You better stay away from me.
Yeah, I don't want to get anybody sick, but I'll make sure that I'm testing and everything else. But yeah, I'm in this little room, so I'm just going to go from this where I'm sitting in this chair over to this little couch right here and steer clear of my house.
Okay.
So.
Usually the people that have COVID, they're the ones that quarantine, and everybody else lives their lives. But if you want to,
No, they're in the house. Those two are in the house.
Yeah, they
It's
get
like
the house.
no
They get the palatial estate, and
chance.
you're stuck in your shed boy.
Yeah, I'm shed boy right now. What I do is I'll do FaceTime. I'll say, "Are you clear of the kitchen?" And she'll say yes, and then I'll spray my hands and spray everything, and then I'll put on a mask, and then I'll grab what I need, mostly booze, and then come back out here. So it's an okay life.
Wow.
That's where I'll be watching the game tonight if you wonder.
I'm wondering that.
Yes.
I don't want to start any rumors or anything, but the nature of Jalen Hurts' illness, because they're not testing for COVID anymore.
Right. It's going around the country right now. I know that.
So, I mean, is he going to play the game with a mask on tonight? He's not going around his teammates. How is he going to do this tonight?
I don't think he's. I don't think.
No huddle offense the whole game. Just stay in your position.
Get away from me.
And I'll yell at you.
Yeah.
I'm going to run an RPO game. I mean, what John Clark was saying is I think the league is figured out their offense is highly predictable.
Yeah.
They don't run plays. They just do it all at the line of scrimmage, and he runs. He has a couple of plays there that he runs, but their offense is very simple, and that's why the NFL is kind of squashing that RPO game right now.
All right, great stuff. As always, Walter and Danny doing a tremendous job. David Lombardi joined us today, the audio recap. We always post that online as well. Preston Jones, head coach of Perry High School in Gilbert, Arizona, where Brock Purdy went to high school. Great insight on Brock there. He was even nice to substitute teachers. And our good friend John Clark giving us an update on Jalen Hurts' health and the Seahawks and the Eagles. Pop, we will talk to you tomorrow.
I won't see you. I won't see you tomorrow. Am I going to see you later in the week?
Yeah, I'm going to be testing all. I'm fine. I believe I tested today, so I should be fine. But I'm steering clear. I don't want to be sick before Christmas. Who would want to do that?
You're steering clear of Santa Clara. Maybe
Yes.
you should stay away.
Steering clear.
Although they're not testing in the NFL anymore, so
They're
if you
not.
test positive, what do you do?
All right, Tolbert and Cope's coming up right now. Again, any and all interviews at KNBR.com. Tolbert and Cope's right now on KNBR AM and FM San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station.
Nothing wrong with that groin.
The NBA brought him to the Bay. While his co-host was born and raised here.
Adam, that is great co-host work right there. That is amazing. You're lucky to have Adam, Tommy.
Oh, absolutely.
It's time for Tolbert and Copes. Let's get it on! Tom Tolbert
Yeah, thank you. Now if I could ever get some beer.
and Adam Copeland
Adam Copeland has arrived!
on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
What is shaking? Adam Copeland, Tom Tolbert with you. Brent Jones, Matt Mayoko. And then Monday Night Football. Seahawks, Eagles tonight. As it'll clarify maybe clarify the NFC overall picture. It may or may not clarify the NFC East. We're not sure about that, but big game for the Eagles tonight. Seahawks try to stay alive, and again, this will have ramifications for the 49ers. So it'll definitely be interesting to watch and see what the Eagles look like, see what Hurts looks like. Is he playing? Is he not playing? All that stuff. Hell, is Geno playing? Is he not playing? Who knows? What's up, Copes?
What's up, dude? You think Hurts? I mean, the Hurts thing is weird because it's an illness. He didn't travel with the team. Is that the whole thing? He flew on a separate plane. We were riffing yesterday on the pre and post game show. I was like, dude, I hope he's not on my plane coming back. Make him fly commercial.
He's not on your plane.
He's too sick to fly with the team. He's going to fly commercial. It'd be funny if he was on a Southwest flight from Philly to Seattle.
Like 4
yesterday.
connections just to infect as many people as possible.
Just stop off at Dallas, maybe hurt the Cowboys a bit. Yeah,
get everybody.
Infect something down there. Mess with the NFC East. But Niners yesterday again. Absolute dominance. Brock Purdy this morning. You wake up and again, it's all MVP talk. So much so that Stephen A. Smith came around. I'm going to have to put Brock Purdy as my favorite to win the MVP. I was like, dude, if Stephen A. is coming around on Brock Purdy, it's making waves, man. He's incredible. 4 more touchdown passes, and Dak didn't throw one yesterday.
Now, I mean, look, I'm not going to hold that too much against the Cowboys, but still, we've talked about it, so it's something.
Sure.
But that was a great spot for Buffalo because, I mean, they're in, like, must-win mode now the rest of the season. They had to win that one. Like, Dallas wanted to win it. Bills needed to win it. And they played like it. They absolutely played like it. We might get into that a little bit later.
Oh, we definitely will.
Did it was totally different than the way we're used to seeing them do things. But, yeah, the Niners are just – Niners do what Niners do. I mean, they just steamroll people. Just offensively, defensively. Look like it might be – a game, and then Charvarius Ward goes pick 6, and then it started to go away from the Cardinals, and you just get the feeling that, like, no matter what happens during the game, at some point the Niners are going to get a foothold in the game, and then that's going to be it. Like, that's the way I feel. Like, they're just not going to lose. This one, I'm really excited to watch this one because the Ravens looked good last night too, and I don't know if they look good. I think they did look good. The Jaguars looked like crap. The Jaguars looked awful last night. Lawrence looked awful. They just looked bad last night. They're like running out of time, and they were just a mess. Okay, he was a mess. They were a mess. But the Ravens did look really good, and they've been the most consistent team in the AFC. Yeah. So, man, very rarely this late in the season
a potential Super Bowl matchup. Like, that's pretty cool. Week 16. Yeah,
number 1 in the AFC, number 1 in the NFC. Bang. Let's get it on.
I mean, that's
I'm pumped.
On Christmas Day.
I'm definitely pumped.
That's pretty sweet, dude. Like, the NFL is just how this happens for the NFL so perfectly each and every year, it seems like, where they line themselves up. But this is still, to your point, fairly unique. I didn't see a lot of the first half of that Ravens-Jags game last night because we were doing the post-game show. Yep. I know it was low scoring. It was like 3-0 for a lot of the first half, I want to say. What was up with Ravens' offense early on in that?
It is kind of a mess. Just false starts. Weird throws from Lawrence that, like, it looked like guys were open and he was missing them. And then they drive up and down the field.
He fumbled.
McManus missed 2 field goals. Mm-hmm. Lawrence fumbled inside the 20. Just running, fumbled. And then at the end of the half, they get all the way down to the 7-yard line with 15 seconds left. And, time enough for 2 plays minimum. Instead of spiking at Lawrence's eyes, hey, let's try to sneak one in there. And they say he throws a little out, and they tackle him in bounds.
Boom, over. Yeah, and a half.
It's like I mean, that was like the whole game. It seemingly like, what are you guys doing? So they were a mess last night. They did a lot of things that I had them in one of my pools, and I was like, come on, can we act like a competent team? No, they couldn't. But Lamar Jackson, like, just pinging around back there. He's like, ping, 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 ping. He's all over the place. Like, I'm going to hold the ball for 9 seconds. Let me go forward. Let me go backward. Let me go side. Go back again. Go forward again. Over here. And then just throws across his body and a perfect dart. Nobody talks about him for MVP candidate. Maybe his numbers aren't quite as good as
Stephen A. That was his other one. Stephen A. said, it's in between him and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Lamar's a freak.
He makes that whole thing go.
Yeah, you watch him play. It's like he's got to be the most frustrating guy to go against. Got him? No, you don't. Gonna get him this? No, you're not. And so, no, I'm totally juiced for that game. That game is that'll be fun too. It'll be like meals over, Warrior games over. You can watch the football games you want. Presents are over. It's time to dig into either seconds or dessert, fire, tree, dark. Boom. I'm gonna be like, yeah.
We're gonna get some rain, you think? We maybe get a little.
I don't think so. Unfortunately, it'd be nice. I love getting a little rain when I'm sitting in there watching all the.
You're all looking live here at Levi's Stadium, Christmas Day. It's the AFC's number 1 seed against the NFC's number 1 seed, and it's next On KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Thank you.
There you
Very
go.
good.
There's your promo for Niners and Ravens on Christmas Day. This time it counts. Yeah, what was it, the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Major League Baseball All-Star game. There's only one seed.
There's only one Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Christmas after that.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, there's only 3 games on Christmas Day. Tolbert and Copes with you on a Monday afternoon here. Niners get a big win over the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. Kyler Murray, man, he's still got some of the electricity with the legs. I mean, he's his best rushing performance so far of the season since he's come back yesterday. I mean, he was tough, and that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't even want to call him like a diet version of Lamar. It's what Lamar does. It's so much stronger on such a bigger scale. He's a legitimate pocket presence, and if you don't contain, as you said, step forward, step back. He's not as predictable as a guy like Jalen Hurts, I think, is or has been. So we'll talk more about that one as we get ready for that coming up next week. How about that? The Niners and the Ravens. We are still, by the way, giving away tickets. We got 2 tickets to give away. We're going to do it all week long. How about this? Bill Burr. Comedian Bill Burr.
Ooh, okay.
This is a good one. Bill Burr's coming to town next June 19th, 2024 at the San Jose Civic Center. If you tune in all week long between 2 and 6, we will give you a cue to call, and when you are caller number 10 to the studio at 415-896-KNBR, you can win those tickets to go see Bill Burr, furnished by Live Nation. They're on sale now at livenation.com. Get the official rules at knbr.com. Bill Burr, one of our favorite comics. What's the cue to call, Tim? Oh, we'll give it to you coming up. I'm sorry. My apologies. We'll give it to you coming up, but stay tuned. We'll get you the cue to call when we come on back, and we'll show you how you can win those tickets to go see Bill Burr next June 19th. When we come on back, Cardinals and all of the NFL can't stop this 49er offense. The Niner defense leaked a little bit yesterday while they were banged up, but when they are humming the way they are right now, nobody's going to stop them. They hit their highest point total of the season yesterday. 45 points, 6 more touchdowns scored, 5 by the offense. The Niners win the division, and that's checking box number 1 for 2023. We'll talk more about that and this electric offense when we come on back. Tolbert and Copes, only here on the Sports Leader.
San Rafael, shout out to you for supporting KNBR, San Rafael's Sports Leader.
The 49ers put up their highest point total yet as they beat up on the Cardinals 45-29. They clinched their second straight NFC West division title. There's more on that story. It's trending on KNBR.com and the KNBR app. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Copeland here for Furlong Vision Correction down in San Jose. I've been telling you guys about this for a few years. It's because, well, it's an easy thing to endorse, especially when you're somebody like me who has had their LASIK vision procedure done by Dr. Furlong and Dr. Sane, who have yet again been voted the best LASIK surgeons in the Silicon Valley, and I know why. They use the most advanced FDA-approved technology, but it's not even that. Everybody should be doing that anyway. But what they're doing is they're customizing things specifically to you and your eyes. We've all got different vision maps. We've all got different vision. We've had different issues with our eyes. Everybody is unique, and that's why they used a Contura topography-guided LASIK. Again, the most advanced approved, FDA-approved technology. And it measures up to 22,000 evaluation points. It creates a customized vision map, like I said, completely unique to you and your eyes. Your eyes and your vision deserve the best. Book that vision correction appointment at furlongvision.com, and you can learn more. They will definitely focus on your vision. You want to start seeing better? Go see the absolute best. It's my guy, Dr. Michael Furlong at furlongvision.com.
And now, time for the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. Follow KNBR on Facebook. Now back to Tom Tolbert and Adam Copeland. Tolbert and Copes on KNBR 104.5 and 680. The Sports Leader.
Purdy left, throw wide open. Deebo Samuel uncovered. Touchdown! San Francisco. Murray back. Murray time throws intercepted. Kavarius Ward running back the other way. He's gone. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco!
The Mooney Man, nothing wrong with that groin.
Wide open McCaffrey! Touchdown! CMC! Will throw on the run. Wide open McCaffrey! Makes the catch, goes down, gets up. Touchdown! CMC! Second and 10, Purdy throws for the end zone. It is caught by Deebo Samuel. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop, chop, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not to life of imitation. Just get us into the reservation.
45-29, the Niners take down the Arizona Cardinals 45-29. They win the division. That sounded damn good coming through my ears, dude. Good highlight package there. Nice song. Good work there by Derek.
You know what was missing from that?
What's that?
Not having Greg's voice. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, you mean like how the Chili Peppers originally recorded it without Greg Papa?
Just listening to the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I like the Chili Peppers better when it's not Greg Papa with the Peppers myself. It's pretty good. And by the way, we got to give note. I know everybody's been doing it and Tim's been playing it. The line from Tim Ryan there on the Ward pick six.
Nothing wrong with that groin.
Nothing wrong with that groin, dude. Dealing with a groin injury. Highest point total of the season for the Niners. 45 points. It's their fourth straight game. They've scored 28 or more. Not the best game defensively. And again, 234 yards on the ground, 29 points, but it took them 72 plays. Like we were talking about this a bit on the postgame show. The Niners went higher yards per play, and they ran, I think, 18 or 19 fewer plays offensively, which by nature of a couple of turnovers, that's going to happen, right? When you're an offense that turns it over like that. But especially when you score on a pick six, it's pretty incredible when I feel like we don't ever think about that. Defense comes out, you turn it over, Ward runs it back. 2 plays later, he's back out there playing defense again. Yeah. Right? Like defense is out there a lot. So to give up 230 run yards to a team that, one, probably should have been running the ball as much as they were. I think a lot of those came from scramble yards. It was 60-something from Kyler. But all in all, again, this is what I meant last week. By even if you can score a little, 29 points a lot to put up in a game. If you put up 29 points and you allow 45, to me that kind of seems like you're never going to play every element of the game or every phase of the game at as high of a level of the Niners when they're healthy. And even if they're not, like yesterday, that dam's going to break, dude. 4 touchdown passes for Purdy, 3 touchdowns for McCaffrey, 2 more for Deebo. It's getting out. I don't know what team's going to do. It's getting out of hand. It is. Like the offense is wild.
Yeah, it is. My 13.5 didn't quite get there yesterday.
I got it at 12. I felt good about the 12 too, and it really wasn't.
It's always fun when you get 13.5 and your team out yardages the other team, and you lose by 16. That was good. But I will say this: it wasn't like I felt like I deserved to win. Like the Cardinals deserved to cover that game. The yards were a little bit phony at the end of the game. Like they were tacking on yards at the end of the game, and the Niners were in complete control of that game from about midway through the first quarter. As soon as they got the pick six, that was when they took control of the game.
It wasn't the backbreaker, but it changed it all. It sent it in their direction.
Yeah, I felt like at that point they just had control of it, and it got firmer as the game went on. But I never felt like the Cardinals were going to be in it at that point. Like I just felt like they were always going to be in scramble mode. And then you watch the Niners end of the first half, start the third quarter. It's like they just, when they need something, they get it. And some of the plays they draw up, I mean, Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey wide open.
That first touchdown to Deebo, he's just like sitting out there. I was like, what is that about? Where is everybody?
WAO, wide ass open. It's like, how can Deebo be wide ass open? It's like, well, because they got Ayuk, they got McCaffrey, they got Kittle. And they scheme up some really cool plays. But, I mean, McCaffrey wide open on the sideline. I think it was a linebacker, just let him go by. And, I mean, obviously he thought he had help. I love when the announcer goes, must have think he had help. Like, no, he didn't think he had help. He just let him go. Nah, what the hell? I don't feel like running today. I'm just going to let him go. I don't even know if there's any help back there or not. I just don't feel like running. I'm a little tired right now.
Think you have help? No, I didn't think I did.
Yeah, of course.
I knew I wasn't going to get back there.
Of course. It's like when they throw like a fastball right down the middle and he fouls it back. I wish he had that one back. Do you think maybe he wants that one back? You think he meant to foul it back? Anyway, moving on. But I mean, you're getting plays like that. Then you're getting the tough yards. Then you're getting the plays where Purdy has to squeeze stuff in there. But you get like a couple freebies. You're just like wide open touchdown. Like I said, I'll say it probably 50 times between now and Wednesday that I'm excited to watch. I can't wait for the game on Christmas just because I think that, now you're talking about a really good defense, and this is going to be a really good challenge for the 49ers, and it's going to be a different type of offense they have to face. But going back to yesterday, I just never felt. I felt like, okay, they're in control of this. I was kind of hoping they'd be in control of it to the tune of like 13 or 12, but nah.
I was with you. I thought I thought I might steal one. Like I was like, we might steal a cover here at the back door. And then
but no.
And they scored again. And then I scored again. I was like, all right, that ain't happening.
They're not into the back door. It was a little disappointing for me and for Harmony probably. I'm sure. Although I think she had the Niners, so
she did. Yeah, Derek confirmed she did. She was hyped yesterday afternoon when he was laying next to her.
This is what happens when you
finishes on top.
This is what happens. Like this is what happens when a team is as dominant as they are. You show up and you go, yeah, that was really good. All right, now where do we go? Because they're that right now. They're that good. Like, they are that good offensively. They are that good defensively. You can talk about Purdy for MVP. That's a given. People should probably start talking about McCaffrey, too.
Purdy did after the game last night. And we'll talk about that when we come on back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But, you're right. He's 18 on the day, 16 to 25, 242 yards. It's 9.7 a clip, 4 touchdown passes, a 135.3 QB rating. McCaffrey, 6.4 a carry on the ground. What was incredible to me was that opening drive. We just talked about the one that ended in a Deebo touchdown. That opening drive, though, McCaffrey had 45 rushing yards, Deebo 2 for 23 and a touchdown. It was like, would they run 7 plays, 8 plays or something like that to get down? I think they saw 1 third down on that opening drive after allowing an opening drive touchdown and a couple of nice plays by Kyler and Trey McBride. But the one that stood out to me on that opening drive, it was the Deebo push for the first down. He catches the ball up the sideline and catches it like short left, and he moves up past the sticks for the first down. It was like an 11-yard gain. And then after that, McCaffrey picks up yardage. Then McCaffrey picks up another first down. Then Niners call a timeout. And then right before that, it was the pass to Brandon Ayuk. He had to slow up just a little bit, kind of hit him in the chest or right in the hands. It was like if he was just a hair further ahead, I think he's catching it in stride. But you're right, man. There's so many weapons here that for 2 guys to pick up a total of 68 yards on 2 catches and like 4 carries and a touchdown on that first drive, it's incredible. And they've got 2 other guys who didn't even see the ball on that drive. So,
you just expect them, or I expect them. I expect them to score every time they have the ball.
I do.
Like minimum field goal. I just expect them to get down the field and score. And they're just a machine, an absolute machine right now. And I know the way football works. It's never going to be as easy as it looks the week before. You may roll a few weeks together, but at some point you run into a little bit of adversity. And I'm sure they will at some point, but 60 minutes? if they don't score their like you've said it, they can beat you, 14-13. They could beat you 35-34. And then they can do what they did yesterday and just blast you. Give up maybe a few more yards than you're used to. But again, I think some of those were phony yards at the end of the game.
You had more chances. You had more opportunities because you kept they turned it over twice, and the Niners were up so big, they just had to keep trying to chuck and pick up big plays. But the explosives for the Niners are what kill you, too. Like, it's like I always say in baseball, the 3-run homer hurts more. Like, I feel like you're resigned to your fate a little bit if you got bases loaded, but if there's one guy on, you might be thinking double play. You might have a little bit of hope when two guys are on, first and third, one out or something, get a double play. If a guy hits one out, that can break your back. Like, to your point, the interception by Mooney Ward yesterday, and then some of these big splash plays. I mean, the big-time plays are the ones that hurt you. The thing that if there is a point of concern after yesterday, and we're nitpicking a little bit, and they didn't have their starting D tackles in the middle, right? You have Givens down there, and you had who was the other one that started? It was Kinlaw, right? Is the other one. T.Y. McGill cycled in at one point. A lot of yards up the middle. It felt like on the ground for Arizona, which does concern me a bit about Lamar Jackson because he'll climb the pocket, he'll get to the outside, and that's a hard-nosed team. So we'll talk more about that as we get closer to the game. But you just brought it up, man. Purdy is the MVP. McCaffrey should be talked about as that. Purdy talked about McCaffrey at length. Pretty cool about him being the MVP of this team after the game yesterday, and we'll give you the latest on the MVP odds. Brock Purdy sits at the top. Who's right behind him, and how far ahead is he? He's he's comfortably sitting in first place. We'll talk about that when we come on back. And we've got your cue to call, an opportunity for you to win a couple of Bill Burr tickets, courtesy of Live Nation. You can get tickets right now at livenation.com. When you hear the cue to call, be caller 10 to 415-896-KNBR, and you'll win 2 tickets to see Bill Burr at San Jose Civic next June 19th, 2024. Tim, what's the cue to call?
Dude, you know what? That's what you get for watching the draft. All right? Now, once again, what kind of a loser just sits there watching round after round? The Jets are up next. I think they need a cornerback. They need to improve the defensive line. Dude, that's
it. We got to get just Bill Burr bits in all week long. When you hear the great Bill Burr joke about the NFL draft, it's like going to graduation. You don't know anybody. He goes on to say, dude, I was just reading the paper. I'll be there the next day. The whole list of the names. There it is. Bill Burr, when you hear that, be caller number 10 to 415-896-KNBR, and you can win tickets courtesy of Live Nation to get the official rules at Live Nation. At KNBR.com. When we come on back, Brock Purdy is the MVP of the NFL. Not yet, but he's at the best odds in Vegas. Who's right behind him? How close are they? And where does Christian McCaffrey stack up in the MVP conversation? That's all coming up next, only here on the Sports Leader. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm specifically talking to the fellas here, especially because we're about, 7 days from Christmas, a week from today. You're up against it. Have you gotten the gift? You gotten the gift she's going to love? Have you gotten the gift for her that you're going to love when she puts it on? And then maybe when she takes it off. That's where Pajamagram comes in. That's right. Pajamagram's famous naturally nude pajamas. They're back, and they're badder than ever. Naturally nude pajamas, they're known for ultimate comfort, silky, sexy, smooth style, caress the body, curve caressing fit. That's what they call them. They're soft and silky. Here's the kicker, boys. When you order the naturally nude pajamas today, you're going to get a free naturally nude nightie. That's right. Extra savings for her and for you. Everybody's happy. Better yet, if you're like me and you don't like wrapping presents, they're going to wrap it for you. Gift wrapped, 2 gifts sent to your door. It's that easy, but you got to go to pajamagram.com. Guys, this is a holiday gift that's sure to make her happy. Give her the gift of PJs. Maybe she'll give you a gift that you like, too. How about that? Yeah. That's what it says right here. Hurry to pajamagram.com today for your naturally nude pajamas before they sell out. Here's what you do. Go to pajamagram.com right now and make sure you tell them that this Christmas, Adam Copeland sent you.
This is KNBR, and they are Tolbert and Copes. Listen to us here and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Sorry to put you in a bad spot.
No, you good.
But there's talk of like, well, Brock could be MVP and Christian could be MVP.
I know you're not asking me that question. We might as well go to the next one. You're not about to put me in that one.
Hey, he's got my vote. Dude, I think Christian should be MVP. I really do believe that. You know, he does everything for us, runs the ball well, can catch the ball. He does everything. And so, in my eyes, that's an MVP.
Anyway, KNBR, give us a call. Is Purdy or Christian McCaffrey the MVP in the NFL? 808 KNBR is the phone number to call. I want to hear from you. We got a nice little graphic up there, too, in the live stream. Nice work there behind the scenes, boys. Is Purdy or Christian McCaffrey the NFL's MVP? 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627 is the number to call. We are streaming on twitch.tv/thesportsleader and, of course, on YouTube at KNBR 1045 and the KNBR app, as well as KNBR.com. Brock Purdy yesterday, 4 more touchdown passes. He is now the leader in the clubhouse in terms of MVP odds. He had been steadily climbing. Now, here's where it stacks up right now. The MVP odds, as Brock is now the league leader in touchdown passes with 29, and he's the leader in passer rating, yards per attempt, all that good stuff. He's been on a tear the last 3 games, 10 touchdowns, a pick, and 924 yards in the last 3 games. Wild what Brock Purdy is doing. He leads, this is per MVP draft, this is the MVP odds per DraftKings. He's at minus 190 now.
Wow.
This late in the season, that's a commanding lead. It's the first time somebody's gone minus money, I believe, this year as an MVP candidate. He was second best odds entering play. You might not have the same odds as Dak entering play this week. Second place is Lamar, tied with Dak. It's Lamar at plus 450, Dak at plus 450. Now, if you're thinking you're somebody who thinks Lamar can win the MVP or should be the MVP and you think he's still got a good chance, that's pretty damn good odds to get right now.
Yeah.
You bet him right now, bet him today. I might do that. I might sprinkle something at 450 because he comes out and let's say he outplays Brock, or if they play a tight game and he plays really well, or if they beat the Niners on Christmas Day, that's going to do a lot for his MVP candidacy, and those odds will drop tremendously. Now, I don't know how heavy you'd go on that. I don't think Dak has got a great shot at all. And I've been baffled. I'm always baffled by Cowboy love nationally, but the thought that Dak is the difference maker, he's having one of, if not the best season of his career, sure. And he's made the Cowboys more relevant maybe than they otherwise would be, but the defense is the calling card for that team. Jalen Hurts has now dropped to plus 1,100, which doesn't really surprise me. He may not even play tonight. Christian McCaffrey right behind Jalen Hurts now at plus 1,200. Where do you come down on McCaffrey relative to Dak and Jalen Hurts? Because in my mind, and again, we've seen him all year, he's maybe the third best in my mind, not just because he's a passer, but what he's done. I mean, he's you heard Brock talking about it there, the multifaceted tools that he brings. It's incredible.
Yeah, look, it's so hard to judge when you're talking about an award for most valuable when guys do different things. Like, it's the same in basketball, but at least everybody's playing the same, like, doing the same things. McCaffrey doesn't do what Purdy does. Purdy doesn't do what McCaffrey does. They play different positions.
They need each other, right.
Yeah, obviously the quarterback's the most important position, but what McCaffrey brings to the table with his running and his pass catching, his blitz pickups, just everything. But then again, it's hard to say, do you lose more if Purdy's out or McCaffrey's out? Probably Purdy. I mean, he's your quarterback. He's the guy that kind of makes the whole thing go, but McCaffrey wouldn't be far behind, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I still think Purdy is the guy, but I would put McCaffrey, I'd probably put him right behind Lamar Jackson. Because I think I would put Lamar second, McCaffrey, and then Dak.
That's me too. Yeah.
I don't want to, I wouldn't completely just throw Prescott's chances out the window one bad game, but that offense was not good yesterday. I mean, Buffalo just ate them ate them for lunch and spit them out. It wasn't even close.
But that's kind of what MVP is, though, right? To me, MVP is, and that's the level of superstar too. It's guys who can do it each and every day, no matter what the opponent is, and again, it's not always the same performance, but they rise to the level against great teams. They dominate against bad teams. Dak hasn't proven that to me that he can do that across the board. Brock has pretty much stood toe-to-toe with everybody. Even when he struggled heavily against Cleveland, he marched them downfield and had an opportunity to win. It's a loss. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm just saying there are things that I think Brock has done this year that fit the mold of an MVP. So what is your definition? In the NFL, it's different. Like you just said, it's different than basketball. Even baseball. Pitchers can win an MVP. I'm never in favor of that because they don't play every day. But you've also got two. The arguments are harder to make, I think. And maybe now baseball will. I don't think they will, but could go to one now that the leagues are uniform. There's nothing differentiating in the league. You play everybody in one season. But for one MVP in the NFL, what's your definition? Does Brock fit that definition?
It's a good question. Don't know what my definition is. Usually I'd say best player, best team. Unless there was somebody that played on a good team that was just like so far and above everybody else. Like right now, I don't know that there's anybody out there that's so far above everybody else that you would take them over the best player on the best team. Now, who's the best player on the best team? Is it Purdy? Is it McCaffrey? I don't know. I mean, by definition, the quarterback's more important than the running back.
Yep.
And Purdy's had a hell of a year, and I think the stuff that he's doing is absolutely incredible. I think it's close, but I'd go Purdy. I was just looking at this to see if I could find, because what I wanted to see here is when's the last time somebody won an MVP in their second season?
The earliest somebody has won an MVP maybe is what you're looking for.
I think Marino won it in his second season.
Did Lamar win it in his third or second? Because Lamar was an MVP. Question. It might have been Lamar's. Lamar was second season and Marino was second season.
Was it?
So they were both second season for Lamar.
What it is? Okay, Lamar.
And Mahomes won it in his second too, because remember Mahomes sat on the bench behind Alex Smith, showed up, and no rookie has ever won the MVP, but a kicker has.
There you go.
One more note
Mosley.
here. Yeah, there you go. And the strike season. What's your definition of the MVP? I said, does Brock fit it? It's tough. It's tough to define. I think everybody's going to have a different one. There does still appear to be, there is still the debate, is kind of the one we're having now, that like it's among the media that Brock Purdy is maybe not as valuable as some of his teammates, or guys like McCaffrey, or guys like Kitt, like they're making him better. Is what
they are.
What the discredit.
And he's making them better.
Agreed. It goes both ways. So
I mean, it's not just a one-way street here. I mean, I don't know what everybody's. I mean, everybody's on crack on this.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
They just think, oh, they're making him better. Well, yeah, he's making. They're both making each other better. Purdy's making Kyle better. Kyle's making Purdy better. Montana's making Walsh better. Walsh is making Rice is making Montana.
It's just round and round and round.
Everybody makes everybody better. Everybody makes everybody better. I remember Draymond saying this. Yeah, would I be the same player without Steph? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't nearly be as good. He wouldn't be as good without me either. You could make the argument who would be better without each other. You could have that argument if you want to. If you want to go to a different universe, different timeline, different reality, and have that conversation, go ahead. But I know this. Those two are better for each other, and they're better with each other. And in football, same thing goes. Has Kyle ever been better than he has been this year when he's been with the 49ers? No.
He's the best player, he said, this year. Since he's been with the Niners, so the players are executing better.
Has Ayuk been any better than he's been this year? Has McCaffrey been any better?
Right.
I mean, like, it just, everybody makes everybody better. That's what good/great players do. They make everybody around them better. And then when you have a whole bunch of them, they really lift up everybody. So the nonsense that surrounds this, they're making Purdy better. Yeah, that's the way it works. Really good players lift everybody. They're lifting Purdy too, while Purdy is lifting them. You think they get the catches and the yards per catch and all the touchdowns without being, he leads them into throws, he fits them into tight windows, he reads the coverage, he gets to them quick so they can do what they do, which is be athletic as hell. Like, I don't know. Again, I kind of feel like it's so obvious. Like I get the feeling people are like, well, what do we talk about? Well, let's talk about this. To me, that's just stupid because it's so obvious. I don't feel like spending 20 minutes on something that's dumb and people bringing up stupid arguments like, well, yeah, but look at Purdy. Look at the guys he has around him. I've mentioned it before. Nobody mentioned that with the Colts. Nobody mentioned that with the Rams. It's just those guys, Warner and Manning, were great. This guy's been great this year. Is Purdy great? Don't know. Has he been great this year? I do know. Yes, he has been great this year.
Yep.
It's a fact. It's right there in the numbers. The record speaks for itself. All the stats that are in a book somewhere, they speak for themselves, or wherever you want to look for. He's been great this year. What does that mean going forward? No clue. And yes, he is better because of those guys. Absolutely, he's better because of those guys. Those guys are better because of him. Period.
Here's, by the way, the discussion we're having here is one that was had last night. Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth were talking about. Here's a guy in Jalen Hurts. Here's a guy, Tom. So Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Sunday Night Football. They're talking about the Ravens. Ravens at the Jags last night, and they're talking about why Lamar deserves to be the MVP over Purdy. Now, here's the best argument I think you have if you're trying to make the case that Purdy's team is better, that the guys around him are making him better. If you want to say his weapons are better, sure, but here's the debate between Tirico or the discussion between Tirico and Collinsworth.
Yeah, the thing, Mike, that makes it so hard for me with Lamar is there will always be somebody with better numbers. Mm-hmm. You know, touchdown passes, interceptions, whatever the case may be. I just don't know how you quantify what we've seen out here tonight. You know, it's just so tough for me to go, all right, which player do I want? Well, I probably would take Patrick Mahomes first, and I'm not so sure I'm not taking Lamar Jackson second.
How do you look at MVP arguments? And everybody looks at them in a different way, right? Yeah. You can have the conversation with San Francisco, timeout Jacksonville there last. Is Brock Purdy the most valuable player on their team? I'm not saying he's not a terrific player and essential to them, but you could start going with McCaffrey, Ayuk, Trent Williams, Fred Warner. Like, you give me your five best 49ers, five most valuable 49ers, and we can have a fun parlor conversation. Here, this guy makes such a difference on this team.
So I think the case they're making here is if you take Purdy off the Niners and you take Lamar off the Ravens, who is hurt more? The Ravens, obviously. The Ravens team is nowhere near as good. Now, they're a good. Don't get me. I want to rephrase this. The Ravens are a damn good team. The superstar notoriety and the talent around them, around Lamar, is far inferior to that of the 49ers. That said, the Ravens drafted a quarterback in the first round who's become an MVP, and they've built around him and his MVP ability, right? He held out and got the contract this past offseason. The Niners are built completely different than the way the Ravens are constructed. That said, they've built their offense to run through Lamar Jackson. They've operated it around him, whereas Purdy was the fit for the offense Kyle was trying to run and the type of quarterback. I understand the two debates. And for me, that's the best case for Lamar being the MVP. And it's why, in my mind, if it's not Brock or McCaffrey, then it's Lamar Jackson. Because he does have the greatest impact, I think, on his team of any individual quarterback that is at the level, that team is at the level that the Ravens are at now. I think that's the best case for that.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that case for him. You could make that case for Mahomes.
Sure.
That if you take them off their team, they're going to be, I mean, there's no doubt that the Niners would probably not even probably, most likely be better off without Purdy than all the rest of the playoff teams would be without their quarterback. But hell, I mean, look at what Cincinnati's doing without Joe Burrow. I mean, I buried them. I just buried the Bengals. I said, they're done. They're not quite done yet. Look what the Browns are doing. Now, Deshaun Watson's not an MVP candidate, not close, but damn Joe Flacco. I think sometimes, and I said it earlier, how important, by definition, the quarterback is the most important position, but I will also add to that, maybe sometimes we look at it and give it too much weight. I know how important it is, but you can't have a good defense, and you can't have a good running game, and you can't have good special teams. And if you get a quarterback that could just come in there and deliver the ball, maybe you're not going to be Burrow, but look what Browning's done. I mean, Browning's done fine.
He's been good.
Let Mixon do a little bit more.
Joe Flacco, but he's elite.
Flacco, I'm not sure if he's elite anymore, but he might be.
Levis?
I'm not sure, but he might be. I'm not positive.
Tim offers a Levis to you?
Oh, well, Levis.
Can I offer you Levis? Huh?
No, you can't.
Case Keenum?
You can't offer me a Levis.
Can I offer
But
you
no,
Sean
I think
Hill?
that's an interesting way of looking at it because they don't ask Lamar Jackson to throw for 290, 300 a game. That's not who they are. They throw more this year. I thought last night they were throwing a lot. I was like, damn, these guys ever going to run again?
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah,
run,
right.
Throw. And then when they ran, it was Lamar Jackson. But no, I mean, again, this is all really subjective stuff because it is. All I know is they've lost 3 times each, and I would almost be okay with whoever wins on Christmas. If they go on to have the better record and be the number 1 seed, I could take that guy. I would be totally fine taking Lamar Jackson if they beat the Niners and then finish with the best record.
I can stomach that.
Because I never have a problem with best player, best team.
Nope.
Best player, best team. And that's why people used to ask me, who's your coach of the year in the NBA? I go, who has the best record? They're like, well, yeah, he had the most talent. I go, says who? Says you? Who says he has the most talent? You say. See, that's the thing we do.
Yeah, they won the season.
That's the thing we do with the coaches is we assign we kind of grade their talent out.
Right.
And a lot of media have no business grading talent out. And they're like, oh, you did more with less. Like, well, how do you know? So anyway, I'll go back to the players. Who had the best year? Who's the best player on that team? Can you do any better than that? No. Yeah, but he was surrounded by. Don't care. And I know, look, it's a little more nuanced than I'm making it seem. And I know there are certain years where I look and go, oh, God, that guy was on the 5th best team, but he was clearly the best player. But as a fallback, I could always go best player, best team and make an argument for it. So, yeah, I mean, Christmas, here we go. Whoever wins, that'd be my front runner right there. Baltimore wins, Lamar Jackson would be my front runner. And if not, Brock Purdy would be my front runner. Christian McCaffrey would probably be 3rd behind them all. But it's hard because offenses are different. Philosophies are different. Harbaugh, Monken don't ask Lamar Jackson to do the same things that Shanahan's asked Purdy to do, and Shanahan doesn't ask Purdy to do what Lamar Jackson can do. They do different things. So, yeah. How do you grade it out? I mean, do you just look at numbers? Numbers can't tell you everything when you're not even asked to do half the things the other guy is being asked to do. So, yeah, MVP is so bizarre to me because a lot of times it's easy, right? Shohei was easy. It's like, well, he pitches. Of course, he was better than that guy. Because you could say, well, where would the Angels be without Shohei Ohtani? And I would have said,
where were they with
same
him?
Play they are with Shohei Ohtani
Right.
in the toilet. So it really doesn't matter whether he played or not because they suck. So who cares? But he was the best player. So we knew that. So what is it? Is it best player, best team? Is it just the best player? We've had this discussion, and they will continue having this discussion long after I'm gone.
Well, what do the listeners think? What do they think? Is it best team, best player? And that's where it gets tough with the Niners. Who is the best player? Is it Purdy? Is it Christian McCaffrey? 808 KNBR, Novak and Sack, Ben and Turlock, Melissa, John, Jake, Mike. See all you guys hanging on the line.
Call right now.
808 KNBR. Is it Purdy? Is it McCaffrey? What are your parameters for the NFL's MVP? And who fits it better between those two guys? We'll get to your calls. Coming up next, still going to have our weekly conversation, of course, with Brent Jones and Matt Mayoko. They'll join us at 3:50 and 4:30, respectively. And then we'll get you out to the Monday night football game, Eagles and the Seahawks, coming your way at 5:15. But 808 KNBR, what's that? Hurts is playing. We have that confirmed. Jalen Hurts is going to play tonight, so we will throw you live to kick off of that game at 5:15. 808 KNBR is the number to call. Who's the MVP, Purdy or McCaffrey? We'll get to your calls next on the Sports Leader.
You the real MVP.
The 49ers put up their highest point total yet as they beat up on the Cardinals 45-29. They clinched their second straight NFC West Division title. There's more on that story. It's trending on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Tolbert and Copes continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Give me a call right now. Do it. Give me a call right now. 808 KNBR is the number to call. Who is your MVP? Is it Purdy or is it Christian McCaffrey? Huge days for both of them yesterday. McCaffrey, 3 more TDs and 4 of them through the air. For Brock Purdy, Let's go out to the phone lines. Novak is in Sacramento. Novak, you're on the Sports Leader. Who's your MVP, Novak?
You know, it's a tough one because I truly do believe that Brock Purdy is the best quarterback in the NFL. But when you look at what McCaffrey's doing, and he's the best ball carrier, and he plays a great wide receiver. So I got to give it to McCaffrey. They're both really good, but I think McCaffrey is just so important to this team and what they're all about that he has to get the MVP. I know he won't. I know Purdy's going to win it. He deserves it, but I really think that McCaffrey is a real good candidate, and they get so fixated on quarterbacks, but they need to start looking at other players. It's not always about the quarterback.
Yeah, I hear you, Novak. I'm with you on that. Where do you come down on Lamar Jackson? Where does he fit in there for you?
I don't even see him on the top 5. I mean, when I look at a quarterback, his job is to sit in the pocket, throw the ball. And if they can run, that's cool. But you look at the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, they sit back, they read the defense, they get the ball in tight windows, they catch the receiver in stride, and I think that's what's important. And later down the year, a couple of years from now, I think pocket passers are going to make a comeback, and they're going to lead the NFL again.
Appreciate the call, Novak. Thanks so much, man. I think there's room for all those. I mean, Joe Montana's a guy who had some mobility and used to get out and run. You watch that Montana doc, they talk about that. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for using his legs. And I think running quarterbacks you get labeled a running quarterback when you tuck it and you run instead of keeping your eyes downfield, like a Justin Fields or something like that. But Purdy has mobility. Purdy can move outside of the pocket and has definitely extended plays and can throw on the run. One of the best Niners to do that was Jeff Garcia. He was great when he got outside of the pocket. How
about a guy we have on every Wednesday?
Well, Steve Young. How about when
he decided to show up, could be Thursday.
Well, it could be Thursdays.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, sometimes he's with it. Let's go to Ben.
That guy's a Hall of Famer. That guy was not necessarily your prototypical pocket quarterback. He turned himself into one, but to begin with, he was a runner, but he was always mobile, and he was always a great athlete. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. That's the quarterback's job. The quarterback's job is to lead the team down the field. And yes, I think the best way of doing that is in the pocket, around the pocket, through the air. Steve talks he's told me many times that he could run whenever he wanted to, but he knew that everybody else was like, bro, what are you doing? We all got jobs to do here. Let us do ours. You can't this isn't a one-man band here. So he had to learn how to, sit in the pocket, read the defenses, go through the progressions. He still had the legs, but he had to use his arm and get everybody involved, and he did that. And I think Lamar Jackson is doing that this year. When I watch him play, he's different. That offense is different. They still like to run it, of course, and he still is a threat with his legs, but I don't know anymore that it's like one size fits all.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I certainly would disagree with you that Brock Purdy's the best quarterback he's not. He's good. He could be the MVP.
He's having the best season. We'll say that.
He is having the best season. He's not the best quarterback in the league. He's got a little ways to go to get there. But the fact that people even would think of that is pretty incredible.
That speaks to the year he's having. To that point, to Novak's point, that speaks to the kind of year that he's having. That's even entering our it's ridiculous that's entering our minds here when Mahomes is out there and Josh Allen and everybody wants. We thought Trey Lance was like, go get one of pieces like that. So let's go to Ben. Ben's in Turlock. He's been waiting a while. Ben, who's your MVP, man?
Hey, I'll kind of go with the previous caller, Novak. Christian McCaffrey. I know he won't get it. I mean, if you look at all the MVPs over the last 50 years, probably 95% are quarterbacks. Yep. So it probably will go to a quarterback. And if that's the case, I think it should be our quarterback. He reminds me of a young Tom Brady when, his first couple of years in the league and winning Super Bowls right away, but he is more athletic than Tom Brady. That's a big advantage for Purdy there. But I'll tell you why I would vote for McCaffrey. One thing is, it's so rare for a halfback to, be able to be in the discussion for the MVP in the NFL, since nowadays it's so quarterback-oriented. And the other thing is, going way back in history that you guys know, I feel when he was at
Stanford as last year, he got screwed out of getting the Heisman Trophy. I don't know if I could use that word.
Yeah, you can. You
can,
Ben. We got to run, but hey, I appreciate the call, Ben. Thanks so much, man. I'm with him. If he's going to a quarterback, I'd like it to be Brock Purdy too. I also like that Ben just went halfback on us. He was thinking about a halfback. You know what I mean? Usually just go running back. I like going halfback. Think about a flanker, Tom. They sit out there and they flank. Let's go to Front Row Chris. Front Row Chris is in Santa Rosa. Front Row Chris, who's your MVP?
Hey, guys. Well, first you were saying who's the best player. CMC, without a doubt, is the best player in the NFL. But most valuable player, I think it's Brock. The reason is, he's got all the weapons, but he's got to get the ball to him, and he's doing it. He's doing it with all of them. He gets the ball out to CMC, he gets the ball out to Ayuk, he gets the ball out to Debo. I mean, that's worth a lot.
He's making reads, he's making throws before guys get into their breaks. I'm with you. I appreciate the call, Front Row Chris. Call anytime, man. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was going to say it's interesting. It's that he's the best player in the league. I mean, that's the weird. That's the tough thing about football. Is he better? Is Christian McCaffrey better than Micah Parsons? Is he better than T.J. Watt? Is he better than? I mean, now you start getting into the weird deal of crossing over like a positions and like, okay, what position's more valuable? Well, look what Christian McCaffrey's getting paid. Look what T.J. Watt's getting paid. That'll let you know what position's more valuable.
Tyreek Hill versus McCaffrey.
To the team,
Receivers versus running backs, that'll tell you.
What position's more valuable. So, I mean, that's why it becomes really tough in football. Because it's like, okay, what position is most valuable? Well, if you're going to go by how much you pay him, then quarterback, then probably left tackle, defensive end. I doubt you're going to get a left tackle that wins MVP anytime soon. It becomes really, really tough. That's why, for me, best player, best team, I could go McCaffrey. Absolutely. I would probably go Purdy still, but McCaffrey. Unless Baltimore finishes with the best record, then I'll go Lamar Jackson. I have no problem going Lamar Jackson because the people that are listening right now, most of them couldn't name me the 3 running backs that played for the Ravens last night. It's just like who, and who. Like you wouldn't.
That's your fantasy player, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That is it.
How many people started DeMarcado in a league this year? Because I did of the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I did one time.
You absolutely did.
I didn't have a choice. I was like, I got to roll the bones. DeMarcado.
So I mean, that's why this becomes so tough for me. But again, I wouldn't have any problem with either of them. I think Purdy deserves to be number one, and I would believe that about Lamar if they won on Christmas. But then McCaffrey, it'd be awesome if a groundswell of people thought, you know what, a running back's never. Why hasn't a running back won in forever? Why can't a running back win? What is it? And then if he were to win it, that'd be incredible. But I think they're all great candidates.
Yeah, if you're going to discredit Brock by the weapons around him, you have to give McCaffrey the MVP. That's kind of the way I see it. If you're going to discredit Brock Purdy and say he's got too many weapons, he doesn't make people better, they're making him better, then give the MVP to the best guy of that group because he's led them then you believe that McCaffrey is the best player on the best team in the NFL. That's what you're telling me if you're believing that they're making him better. If you don't believe that, then I'm okay with saying it's Brock. Maybe it's Lamar if you're making the case elsewhere. The funny thing about saying them head-to-head could decide it, which it may very well in a lot of people's minds, is they're never on the field at the same time. It's not like this guy's going toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson to see who's the better quarterback. Like, he could play a great game and lose. Lamar could play a terrible game and win. It's unlikely, but it could happen just because you're not on the field the entire time. Let's go to George. George is in San Francisco. George, you're on the Sports Leader. Is it Purdy or is it McCaffrey? Who's the NFL's MVP?
My MVP is probably McCaffrey, but I'm going to tell you what, they're probably going to split the votes, and neither of them are going to get it. And I think the pundits who believe that Purdy can't be the MVP because he was a 202nd draft pick, if he would have been the second round or third round draft pick, I don't think there'd be any question about it. But because they can't admit that they actually got something wrong, I don't think the voters are going to vote for him, and I think it's going to be a split vote. That's
an interesting point. Appreciate the call there, man. Thanks so much, George. In San Francisco, thinks it'll split the vote. He thinks like Purdy and McCaffrey are going to Ralph Nader each other. One of them's Ross Perot, and the other one is going to steal some votes, dude. I don't know if the MVP voting is different, I think, for the NFL than it is for it's voting by place and points, right? Isn't that how it works? You get like points for the number of plays you finish in, Like you get first place vote, you get second place votes. I think they point system it or something. So it's a weird, unique system. It's not quite the same as just straight number of votes. I don't believe you vote by place.
I think you're right. You did like 10 for a first place vote, 9 for a second place, like one of those type deals.
Yeah,
I'm not sure because I don't really care, but I don't know. I think that's how it works.
Can I circle back?
We'll just say that's how it works.
I'm going to come back really quick to that caller who said that we had that McCaffrey was the best player in the NFL, and you said, "Well, is it T.J. Watt? Is it there's different players? Is he the best? I mean, this is the thing. He's likely. I think he's the favorite still. He and Tyreek were at the top for Offensive Player of the Year. Yep. I believe he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. It would be pretty surprising if he didn't. Tyreek's gotten banged up. Tyreek's having a huge year, though. If he goes for the 2,000 yards, it might be tough. But if McCaffrey scores, how many touchdowns is this guy going to score? 3 more yesterday. What about Mostert? How many Mostert have? Like 25 touchdowns or something? He's got 21 touchdowns, Raheem Mostert. That's wild. But by the way, that tells you about the offense, too. Right?
Yep.
McDaniel's running that same offense. Mostert's known it well. I mean, it's on the table. McCaffrey, I don't think Mostert is in that convo, but he's a touchdown machine. I think it's McCaffrey and outside of quarterback, the best players on offense in football. It's got to be McCaffrey and Tyreek. McCaffrey might edge him.
Yeah, that would be really close. That'd be really close because both teams are having good years. Again, I think you're right. Yeah. I think 2,000 yards. What did Calvin Johnson go? 1965. So that if he breaks that record, that would certainly resonate with people. I don't think
that touchdown record.
Games.
The consecutive touchdown record. McCaffrey tied that. I know people will forget it because it ended in like week 6 or something, 7, whatever week that was that he finally didn't score. Week 8 when they were trying to have him out there at the end. It was against the Jags, wasn't it? They were up 30-3 and they just kept throwing the ball.
Yes. Yeah.
It's hysterical, dude, just putting him out there. So let's go to one more call. Let's go to Mike. Mike is in San Francisco. Mike, what's going on? You're on the Sports Leader.
Hey, guys. No, I give it to CMC, but, the real MVP, I think it's going to be Lamar because, you take out Lamar, that's it for the Ravens. But, with the Niners, I'm a diehard Niner and Giants fan, but you take out Brock Purdy, you got Sam Darnold. I think he's going to do as good or better.
Appreciate the call, Mike. I don't think Sam Darnold would do as good or better. You can't.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, to a man or a woman, whoever out there, if when Brock Purdy went into the blue tent yesterday for for a couple of minutes, tell me anybody out there was like, it's all good, dude. We got Sammy, baby. We got slinging Sammy Darnold out there, man. We're like, I don't think anybody felt good about that. Like, not that was like going to be the absolute end of it all, but I was nervous for a second there with Brock. Like, I'm going to need Brock back on the field to make sure this isn't a situation like last year. I think you can't argue Brock MVP and say you'd be as good if Sam Darnold stepped on the field. No. I would discredit all of that argument. Thanks so much for the calls. 808 KNBR if you want to keep chiming in on this debate. It's a good conversation. Is McCaffrey or McCaffrey or Purdy the MVP of the NFL? We will still talk to Matt Mayoko and Brent Jones a little bit later in the show, but a little bit more on last night's game. Cowboys lose to the Bills. You said the Bills did it, Tom, in a way that we have not seen them beat teams in the past. They hammered the Cowboys. The Cowboys still, they're the same team to me. I know they beat the Eagles, but they are no different in my mind than the team that the Niners beat. They're bullies. They beat up on bad teams. They have tough times with good teams. They're inconsistent. You still believe the Cowboys is a threat to the 49ers after a 31-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills? We'll talk about it next on the Sports Leader.
Daly City, shout out to you for supporting KNBR, Daly City's sports leader.
Steph Curry's 268 games with a three-pointer made came to an end last night in the Warriors' 118-114 win over Portland. That story and more trending now on KNBR.com and the KNBR app. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Copeland here for Underdog Fantasy. Look, Christmas a week away, and this holiday season, our friends over at Underdog Fantasy are running surprise season promos. They started last week, but they're still going on right now through the end of the year. If you haven't heard of Underdog, where you been? It's the easiest and best place to play fantasy sports every night of the basketball season, football season, you name it. You want to play the pick'em game. That's where you pick between 2 to 5 players. You pick whether or not they'll go higher or lower than one of their stats. And if your pick hits, you can win big. It's legal in California. A lot of fun to play along as you watch your team tonight. We got football on. We got a game. We'll play it for you coming up at 5:15, the Monday night game. And Jalen Hurts is going to play in that one. I'm looking at his rushing yards plus passing yards. I'm going to take lower on that. He is coming in sick and has not been practicing with the team all week long. Anyway, you go 5 for 5, 20 times your money in a single game. Go to the easy-to-use mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code KNBR, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code KNBR to get that first deposit of $10 or more up to $100 doubled. And remember, the surprise season promos are already going on right now through the end of the year. Follow at Underdog Fantasy over on the site, formerly known as Twitter, and be on the lookout for the ways you can win a Nintendo Switch, a PS5, and many more prizes. You must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Tolbert and Copes. Now continue. Follow us on Twitter at KNBR. This is KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Need to get to the 33. Has time. Now runs into a sack and he's taken down by Lynn. Prescott throws high, and it's intercepted. It's Benford who's got it, taken down. Bills take over.
They already had the 7-0 lead, then boom, they score again. And at that point, trying to play in a drop back game in conditions like this is not going to be favorable. I can tell you that. And so they did a great job on defense, putting disguising for one, putting the top on it, making us play underneath. And as I said, it's going to be tough in conditions like this when they've got the lead, trying to have to just go drop back all game long. So they beat us with the formula.
There's Dak Prescott there. Some, I'd call them highlights, but not so much. More lowlights from his performance. 31-10, the final. CeeDee Lamb rushed in for their only touchdown, didn't he? I saw was how they got their one TD.
Yes.
Unfortunately, what happened? Are you?
Well, I had that was the only guy I didn't need to score at the very end of the game in fantasy. The guy I was playing had CeeDee Lamb. I was like, don't get now.
You're the one seed, and you were a dominant one seed this year in the.
Dude, my team. Well, no Stroud, no Hill, no Olave. So 3 guys.
You took. I mean, I fell fast. The Russ yeast infection was cured, and I fell to 9th place because of the injuries to my team and the bye weeks at the end. I mean, you got banged up bad because you've lost 2 quarterbacks. I
got banged up bad, and then I got Dawson Knox coming back, and the Bills decided to go to 1950s football, so Kincaid got 0 points. So basically, here's the deal: the guy I'm playing. Grant he's the only guy I could beat this week. Everybody else I would be losing to, and I need 11 points tonight.
From who?
From Swift and Walker. If I can't get 11 points, with
Kenneth
2
Walker
running backs,
and DeAndre
yes.
Swift. Oh, okay.
If I can't get 11 points with 2 running backs, then you know what? It wasn't meant to be.
Oh, that's a lock, Tom. You're through.
Oh yeah, it's a lock. Yeah, it's a lock.
Everybody knows if you need 11 points on a Monday night from 2 guys in a row, you're fine.
You got it.
You're through. You're in the second round. You started booking
Don't
your hotels.
worry about it.
You're booking your hotels yet for the semifinals? Or you just booking rooms yet? Mapping the parade route.
So if CeeDee Lamb wouldn't have scored, it would have been like, dang, all I need is 6 points now. I should be even. So we'll see. Put it this way: I'm cautiously optimistic.
I've been telling people about your team name, by the way, and it's been getting a lot of laughs lately. 4th and long duck dong. 4th and long duck dong. It's a great. Murph got a huge laugh out of that. That was right up Murph's alley. And we got a huge laugh when the Cowboys lost to the Bills yesterday, and the Cowboys are rooting hard tonight for the Seahawks. Hope that they can stay alive atop the NFC East, and hope they can come out as the division champion there. Niners, Eagles, Cowboys, and Ravens all clinch playoff spots, right? After last night's game, I actually thought, after beating Philadelphia, maybe Dallas is different. Maybe they are improved relative to what we saw week 5 against the 49ers. Where are you on that? Do you still view – are they a threat to the Niners? They're as close of a threat as you could have.
I mean, I guess you have to consider them one, but I mean, you look at the 2 games they played on the road. The Niners killed them, the Bills killed them.
Bad.
And hell, the Bills – who would have thought the Bills would have beaten the Cowboys like that with Josh Allen throwing the ball 15 times? 15, that's it. I mean, Cook was just dicing him up. And it's funny because that's what we've been talking about. Like, Josh Allen can't be Superman every single game. You just can't ask him to do that. If they can go this route, and this is the extreme the other way, where he throws 15 times. The weather probably had something to do with that, of course, but I mean, defense and running the game, that is not really Buffalo Bills football, but yet it was against the Cowboys.
It should be.
If they can,
Shouldn't it be?
If they can get, well, if they can get a better blend of that. Like, you still got Josh Allen, you're going to use him. But, yeah, if you don't have to ask him to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, and you can count on Cook, and you can count on the defense, and, yeah, they're going to be, if they get into the playoffs, like I said last week, you look at the bottom of the AFC playoffs, you're like, I wouldn't mind playing them. Damn, don't really want to play them. Like, no one wants to play Buffalo in the first round at home. Like, oh, God, you kidding me? We got to play Buffalo? Seriously? Because you know that team is good enough to beat anybody in the AFC. Hell, good enough to beat anybody in the NFL, for that matter. Yep. So they looked really, really good. But back to the Cowboys, the 2 chances they've had on the road, and they're going to have another one against the Dolphins to put a significant knot on someone's head. They got a significant knot put on their head. And what was the
Seattle game? Was that
42-10?
42-10 was the Niner game. Was it? Did they play Seattle in Seattle or at home?
Yeah, no, Seattle was home.
So they beat Seattle at home, but they gave up 35 to Seattle, I think.
They did.
Dallas, yeah.
So 31-10 and 42-10, so 73-20 in the two biggest road games you played this year. I mean, that's a knot right there. That's a knot.
Well, look at their wins. Their wins are against bad teams. The Giants twice,
at home.
Washington, or at home, right? They've lost to a couple of bad teams. They lost to Arizona at Arizona, but they lost. They're much better at home, like you said, and they are not playing well against tough teams. I'm not. They don't strike fear into me, especially having to come back here. Like I know Micah Parsons thinks they're different, and we figured some stuff out. It seems to me it's one step forward, then one step back for them. They're kind of a net even for me all season long. They haven't done anything.
I don't know that anybody strikes fear.
No, not
I don't know.
Niners.
I don't know if I look at any game and think, the Niners.
They're the
be
dog.
A really tough one.
Right.
Like this one, I think the one on Christmas, Baltimore is one. Like, because you're pretty good if you can be less than a touchdown or less than 6-7 point dog coming into the Bay right now. And they were like 5.5, which is still quite a bit for a team of that caliber. I mean, giving damn near 2 field goals to the number 1 seed in the AFC. But there isn't one team I look at and go, ooh, that's good. You know, I'll tell you what, the only team that I look at and go, is Kansas City. And that's only because of past scars of Mahomes. It's not even this year's team, because this year's team, I don't even look at this year's team and think, ooh, that's going to be,
It's the Warrior factor. It's what we've seen before.
Team. It is, exactly.
That's why we know it's in there, because we've seen it.
I know what he can do. I know I've seen it before. Seen it up close before. But other than that, I mean, that's why this Christmas will be so much fun, because Lamar Jackson's kind of that guy where it's like, you can do everything right, and this guy can still burn you. So, but NFC, not really. No, there's not one team I look at and go, well, that'd be a tough. Even if you had to play there, I wouldn't even think, that's going to be a tough one.
No.
I don't.
I'd feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I'd feel pretty good about it.
Dallas is not, to me, Dallas is like, I mean, they're talented. They could beat you, absolutely. But it's not a game I go into thinking, well, this is going to be a really, really, really tough one. It'll be a tough one, but I think the Niners would have to help teams along. Like, I don't know that there's a team in the NFC right now I look at and think they can beat the 49ers, everything being equal. And everything being equal, meaning you don't turn it over, you're not -2 and turnovers or more. Penalties aren't wildly out of control, and maybe something goofy doesn't happen. Okay, if everything's kind of played normally, I don't think they get beat. I do not think a team in the NFC can beat them. I do not.
I'm with you there. So you said the Bills are becoming the team you don't want to see in the playoffs. The AFC, yes. I look at them. The other one's the Browns for me. I don't want to see the Browns. I mean, the Niners wouldn't have to, but if you're in the AFC playoff picture, like that's a team that's still, I mean, they're going to be a wild card team. They'll finish behind the Ravens likely. But Joe Flacco is a guy who's not, I mean, as far as stabilizing that position, I didn't think he was a guy that was going to do that. He still has ability, obviously. It's funny that the Jets wanted no part of it because the Jets could be in that situation right now, right? Yeah. Having a quarterback with Aaron Rodgers potentially getting healthier. They were thinking maybe at the end of the season whether or not that was a reality or not, but they missed the playoffs yet again. Jets are going to finish under 500. They're eliminated from playoff contention. But the Browns are a team. They've won a game with 4 different starting quarterbacks this year, which is wild. They won again yesterday. They fell back and then came back and won it in, I think it was in overtime. They won yesterday to the Browns. They got 9 wins now. And Joe Flacco, like, that defense is legitimate. They don't need to score a lot of points. And he's throwing the ball pretty well.
It's
weird. It's weird. Like, I don't think they're like a contender per se, but they have 9 wins. They have 9 wins. Like, Stefanski's done a really, really good job.
Oh, my gosh.
He's our coach of the year. That should, in my mind, he's coach of the year. I know we talked Kyle earlier on, but he should be up there. Especially, they're going to make the playoffs. And just real quick, a point Derek was making earlier when we were having the MVP conversation about Lamar. Lamar Jackson wasn't on the team last year. He was hurt last year when the Ravens went to the playoffs. They made the playoffs without him last year.
That's right, it's Hundley.
I said to Derek, yeah, but they had a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, they did.
Only was a Pro Bowler last year. So good stuff there. The Bills hammer the Cowboys. And by the way, the Eagles have not played yet this week. They play Seattle 5:15 tonight in Seattle, Monday Night Football. We'll throw you live to kickoff of that game right here on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader. When we come on back, a little bit more from around Week 15 in the NFL. We'll get you some highlights, some numbers, some notes. Lions look like themselves again. Hammering the Broncos. You get the Saturday games this week. That was a lot of fun. How about the Raiders putting up a 60 spot on Saturday? We'll talk more about that. That was last Thursday night against the Chargers. That's what kicked off Week 15. We'll get into this 3 Saturday games and then a little bit more about what's coming up tonight. That's all next, only here on the Sports Leader.
Missed an interview or want to hear it again? Catch them all at knbr.com/podcasts. You're tuned in to Tolbert and Copes on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Shotgun snap for Goff. Lets it fly right side of the end zone. Diving catch. Touchdown Lions. Sam Laporta's brilliant rookie season continues. This is a 3-yard touchdown.
Snap back. Ball down. Hopkins into it. The kick is up. And the kick is good. And with 32 seconds left, the Browns lead 20-17.
Jackson in the gun, gets the snap, fakes the handoff, back to pass, fires down the middle. That's caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. Isaiah Likely makes the catch in the end zone. His second touchdown catch of the year, and the Ravens find 6.
Some sounds from across Week 15 in the NFL. Saturday game started with Cincinnati. They stay alive in their playoff hopes, dude. Jake Browning, you mentioned him earlier. What do you think of him, dude? I mean, that's one of the other great stories in the NFL this year. It's the quarterback injuries have been incredible. How many guys have been down for the season or with significant injuries? We went through some of these last week. Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Anthony Richardson, the rookie quarterback you mentioned. We had Joe Burrow go down. You had Kirk Cousins go down. Who else am I missing? C.J. Stroud, who's hurt right now. They're trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. You had an injury to Trevor Lawrence, which was feared to keep him out of a game and did not, but he's banged up now. I mean, it's incredible what the quarterback situation is around the league and how many of these teams have had backups that have stepped up and played fairly well. I mean, the Colts are still in the mix with Gardner Minshew. You've got Cincinnati, who I just mentioned, with Jake Browning, who's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's, I mean, they're floundering now with Nicky Mullins trying to get it done. But what have you made of some of these backup quarterbacks in their play?
Well, I mean, Browning, guys, they're throwing for over 300 yards a game.
It's crazy.
In the last 3 games. And, he's not making the critical mistake. He's had a couple picks, but 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, and just pretty amazing stuff, really. This is kind of the year of the backup quarterback. I don't know what to make of him yet because, again, it's 3 games in, and he just may be riding the wave. But you never know where it ends up. I'm not predicting he's unseating Joe Burrow as a quarterback there in Cincinnati, by the way. But, as I always tell young players, everybody in the league watches all the games. So if you do something for your team but you don't have a spot, somebody will find a spot for you. It's all about finding a job. But he's been really good for them. He really has. Mixon's been good for him. He's been good. It's fun to see. Yeah, we had no idea what we were going to get against Jacksonville. And then he just, diced him up. Because he didn't look great the week before. I want to say it was against Pittsburgh. And then against Jacksonville, it comes in and just dices him up and then leads him from behind against Minnesota. And they win that game. Hell, led him from behind without Chase, who left that game early. So, yeah, you look at the playoff teams, and you just mentioned some of them. The quarterbacks, if anybody wanted to go back and look at the quarterbacks from years gone by for playoff teams and compare it to this year, quarterbacks for possible playoff teams, it'd be wild.
The quality, you mean? The drop-off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the top ones are solid in the AFC, right? You got Lamar Jackson, Tua, Mahomes, and Lawrence. And then your wild cards. Flacco, Browning, Minshew.
and then who's first team out?
Those are your...
It's gotta be,
I think the first team out is Stroud.
So Stroud, okay.
So Stroud, and then you get Allen. And yeah, it's wild. And the NFC is Hurts, Dak. No, that's not the wild card. I was just looking.
It would be Purdy is the one.
Purdy, Hurts, Goff, and Baker. And then
Baker
Dak.
Mayfield. That's your fourth. That's your
Dak,
Baker. How about that? Yeah.
Mullins. How great would that be, a Mullins-Niners matchup?
Are they the 6 right now?
No, they're the 7. I think they're the 7. And then Stafford. And that's what you got for the
So as it stands right now, then what? So Stafford and the Rams would be the 6 right now?
Oh, I think they'd be the 7. They got Minnesota ahead of them.
There you go. So Minnesota's the 6, and then Rams would be the 7. So as it stands right now, yeah. So you could potentially it could be in the second round if these standings held. You in the second round could be facing either Matt Stafford or Nick Mullins. How about that, or the Vikings? It could be Dobbs too. Who knows? Maybe they go back to Dobbs. He got banged up, right? Or do they just move on from him?
No, I think they just
said you're no good.
Yeah, we've run this ashore.
The irony in that they
go ahead
traded
and
for
give
him.
Nicky Mullins a try.
They traded for him and then had to put him in the game immediately. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like a few snaps into his tenure there in Minnesota. So more from Week 15 in the NFL. I said the Browns keep winning games with Joe Flacco. Again, because of that defense, that might be the best defense relative to offense in the NFL. In terms of a team where its defense is far superior, I think they're that team this year. They're that team where that unit is carrying them. That's the calling card. The offense just has to go out. They can put up 17 to 20. They can keep themselves in games as long as you're not allowing big-time scores. And they didn't against the Niners, the best offense in football. That defense held up pretty good.
Who's that?
The Browns. That's what I mean. It's that's their calling card.
Yeah, although the one thing about the Browns, you get them on the road.
They're terrible
really
on the road.
Thing. Yeah, their defense on the road gives up a lot of points.
Are they 6-1 at home or something?
Yeah, at home they're really, really tough. They get after it at home on defense. On the road, I'm not sure what happens to them, but yeah, it's just weird because not only we talk about them losing Watson, they lost Chubb. We thought when they lost Chubb it was done.
That was week 1.
Yeah, they're over. It was over.
Them and the Ravens both lost their starting running backs. Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins went down, right?
When's the last time Dobbins played? Like never?
He tears
that guy
Achilles
can't
like
catch
week
a
one.
break at Ohio State. It's
Maybe, yeah, seems like every year.
Ever since he's been in the league, he gets hurt. Like, I feel so bad for that guy. It's like all the rehab this guy goes through, and then you finally get back, and maybe you get a game or two in, and then boom, back. I guess some bodies just aren't made maybe for the NFL. It's like, we've had enough. We're done. We're tapping out on this one, whether you want to or not. But yeah, it's going to be like, and here's the thing, and I don't know if anybody agrees with me. You can chime in if you want to on the threads that are available to you. This is where the playoffs kind of dilute everything with the extra team. I just mentioned 3 teams that you think, they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. Now, we're going to watch it, but do we need it? Like, really, do we need it? It's more football, and we can all agree that's fine. We don't mind more football. But do you need that extra game in there where you know that team's not running the table? Like the 3 teams I mentioned in the AFC, they're not running the table. There's no way in hell they're running the table. So you're just like, it's like basically what it is for the NFL and ESPN and NBC and Fox, CBS, it's extra revenue, extra inventory. That's what it is. NFL kills it. We all know that. NFL playoffs, doubly, triply, quadruply kills it. So they're making tons of money on this. But do you need it? No, you don't need it. Again, we're all going to watch it, but you don't really, and this is where I have a problem with the extra teams in the playoff is like, yeah, is that game really going to I don't know. Do I really need that team in there? Probably not. Probably not. It's like the basketball. I love NBA. First round of the playoffs usually is like, wake me when it's over. Maybe a couple decent matches.
Because they're below 500 teams are good.
Yeah, exactly. We're good. I don't need to see 1 crush 8 and 2 crush 7. 4 and 5's okay, but it's a thing. That's the thing, though. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. It's like the play-in game in NBA. We're going to watch it. I don't need it. Nobody needs it, really, but we're going to watch it. And everybody knows this, or at least the owners know it, that we love football. And playoff football, better. More money for us. Game might not even be competitive, but you're going to watch it regardless. But the teams I just read off, I'm thinking to myself, God, some of these playoff matches are going to be hot garbage.
Dude, run this through again. That's so funny. AFC, if it's as it stands right now, here's your quarterbacks in the AFC playoffs.
AFC playoffs.
Lamar, Tua, Mahomes, and Lawrence.
Yep.
That's okay. Then you get to
that's really good.
It's a 5, 6, 7 that has me a little more concerned. It's Flacco, Browning,
Minshew. There you go. There you go. Flacco, Browning, Minshew. So I think right now the way it would stand is the Dolphins would host the Colts. The Bengals would be at the Chiefs, and the Browns would be at the Jaguars. That would be
Browns and Jags. I'll take the Browns in a heartbeat. That might be the best wild card weekend matchup you get. Jags and Browns, dude. How about the Browns and Jags?
I mean, it's like you look at it, it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
And then in the NFC, if things were to go as you get Philly hosting the Rams, that might not be bad. That actually wouldn't be bad. Vikings at Lions, and what everybody asked for, a rematch of the Cowboys at Buccaneers from last year.
That's what everybody asked for.
Which nobody asked for.
And not Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield is what you get instead. The Rams.
Nobody asked for that.
The Rams working their way in here to the playoff picture is what's intriguing. I was talking to somebody about this at the hotel bar last night after the game.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was Niner fans were high and mighty. I've never seen a more bored-looking fan base leaving the game. So yesterday, our fans I've been to a handful of them this year. One more on the road this year. And, it gets raucous before the game. Everybody's fired up. Niners! Everybody's yelling and partying. And then they're sort of ho-hum as they walk out or shuffle out. Middle of the fourth quarter, people are like, yeah, it's kind of what we expected. 45 points and an ass kicking. I said to this guy last night at the bar, though, I thought after Baltimore, I'm a little bit, you'd love to see the Eagles lose one more time because it would allow the Niners to have a little bit of a cushion heading into the final week of the season, potentially against the Rams. The Rams will likely be playing for playoff positioning or to lock up a playoff spot. A division opponent like that is tough. The Rams always play the Niners tough. In my opinion, that's their most difficult victory this year is the Week 2 win over the Rams down in L.A. That was a hard game to win. And so I don't write off any team ever, but in division especially Sean McVay and the Rams. If the Niners keep winning and the Eagles keep winning, you will have to win that Week 18 game, and you want to make sure you win it to make sure you can still be the number 1 seed so they don't jump over you, Philadelphia. And if you got to do that to get the bye, it's a dicey situation. Anyway, the Rams are playing better football. It's just my thought. They won 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, you got a really good coach and a really good quarterback. And look, Kyron Williams has been incredible. I mean, he has been an absolute monster. And then you don't get a lot better than Kupp and Nakua. Higbee's been coming on a little bit. So they could be a problem. I didn't think much of them to start the season, but they could. Thank you.
I forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, Puka didn't do crap for me yesterday.
Yeah, well.
He had a good first quarter, and then they shut him down.
Ever since Cooper and Napupa came back.
Dang. Cup being back's wearing me out now. Going to Cooper Cup. Yeah. So, yeah, they're a little bit of an issue. Like, you got a really good coach and a really good quarterback. Those guys have won a Super Bowl. So, yeah. No, I think that's going to be – it's here, and the Niners always beat the Rams. Although it was funny because now the Niners are actually favored against the Rams. The Niners were like underdogs forever against the Rams.
Yeah.
And now they're favored against the Rams. I don't think it changes the dynamic, but anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think once they get to the playoffs, yeah, that's the one wild card team in the NFC I don't really want to see. I don't want to see the Rams. I think based on what they did in Baltimore last week, they look like they could beat. Stafford gets hot a little bit, and the defense is playing pretty good, and Williams can run the ball now, so they got a really, really balanced offense. Yeah, you give me the other teams in the wild card in the NFC. I don't really want to mess with them.
By the way, Week 18, you see them. I said so. You see them Week 18, and then potentially you could see them Week 20, right? If the Rams end up as a 6 or the 7, and the Niners end up as the 1.
Yep.
And they beat them Week 18, or they play them Week 18. You could play them again potentially in the divisional weekend.
Yeah, that's
right. In the playoffs 2 weeks later, which is always weird. And Tom, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
I don't have any numbers to back it up.
Sure,
but
they
it's
have
hard
any
to
evidence, but that's what they tell me.
No data, but that's what it sounds like. We are going to catch up, by the way, our weekly conversation with Brent Jones coming up on the other side. Matt Mayoko is going to join us at 4:30, and an update on the health of the quarterback situation for tonight's game. Geno Smith is going to play for Seattle. Jalen Hurts is going to play for Philadelphia. So both guys have their starting quarterbacks in there. Both teams have their starting quarterbacks in there. And then just one more note here on the Rams. Tim wanted me to do my Sean McVay impression. Derek doesn't like it, so I'm not going to do it. Derek said no. So sorry, everybody. No impression of Sean McVay.
Derek nixed it.
Because Derek nixed it.
Eat shit, Derek.
Thank you. That's what I needed. Eat ass, Derek. That was a bad McVay. That was a bad one. See, now you threw me off. Now you're in my head. It's all bad. Let's talk to Brent Jones. Let's see if we can recalibrate here. Brent Jones, our weekly conversation with a former 49er tight end. Always fun. I bet he's fired up after that win over the Cardinals. Now we're getting ready for what's the next most exciting game of the year, the Baltimore Ravens on Christmas, the 2 number 1 seeds in the NFL going head-to-head. And we got a Monday Night Football game with playoff implications tonight as well. We'll talk about all that with Brent Jones next on The Sports Leader. The Warriors finally have a win streak. They survive in back-to-back wins against the Nets and the Trailblazers. There's more on that story trending now on KNBR.com and the KNBR app. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Copeland back here. My good friend Steve Moskowitz hanging on the line. We are about a week from Christmas. Good to talk to you, Steve. Tell us about the ERC.
I like to think of it as a wonderful Christmas present from the government to your listeners. ERC, the federal government, is rewarding employers for employing people during 2020 and 21 by giving away. That's right. Giving away. It's not a loan. It's a grant. It is giving you the money of up to $26,000 for every employee you have to qualify. There's 2 different ways to qualify, and you only need one of them. One is real easy. It's a drop in gross revenue. It's math. But a lot of CPAs I've encountered are stopping there. Now, before I was a tax attorney, I was a CPA. Why are they stopping there? Because they like doing math. And if you don't have that drop in gross rates, that's too bad. No ERC for you. Goodbye. Well, wait a minute. There's another way. But the other way requires analysis. And a lot of CPAs I've encountered don't like to do that. They just like math. We're tax attorneys. That's what we do for a living, legal analysis. We're willing to spend the time, effort, and energy to see if you qualify. Of course, not everybody does. That's the scammers. But a lot of people that didn't have the requisite drop in gross revenue do qualify for this. And you may qualify for hundreds of thousands of dollars or even more. Don't let this pass you by. But watch out. The ERC program is going to end soon. Don't find out that you were qualified after it's too late and the program closes. Just call us for your free second opinion, just like you would with a medical doctor.
Thanks so much, Steve. Let Steve take care of it for you. Let him answer that great Christmas question that you've got about the ERC. 1-888-TAX-DEALER. Find him at MoskowitzLLP.com.
Hey, Adam, how you guys doing?
We're great.
I would imagine you're doing pretty good after watching another thumping.
Thumpings always make me happy. And, I felt like it could be a bigger thumping, but we're nitpicking. But, yeah, I have to say we're kind of rolling. We're hitting on all cylinders. We're doing great things. We're designing great plays. We're getting guys wide open, and it's certainly fun to watch. If I had one nitpick from yesterday, it would be we gave up way too many rushing yards on defense. And Kyler Murray just reminds me Kyler Murray can play, and it's shocking he was hurt for over half the season, and he comes back, and man, he is dangerous. But in spite of him getting yards, I thought our tackling was sloppy, and it feels like we have sloppy tackling games, once every other game, and it's it's a nitpick now, but you don't want to lose a playoff game because you couldn't tackle. So we've got to solidify some things defensively. But overall, I thought it was a great game. Cardinals, they're certainly not the top of the pack, but those guys were fighting hard. I'm going to say that, and so it was a good win.
Yeah, I would say this because look, one missed tackle from Fred Warner led to about a 50-yard DeMercado run. So that's almost like 25% of your yardage on the ground or whatever it was, right around there. And that doesn't happen. Like Fred Warner doesn't miss those tackles. He just happened to miss those. But I see if you agree with this. Like, I don't remember them missing tackles in a big game. Like a game they need, they don't miss tackles like they missed tackles yesterday. They've had games where they've missed them, but unless I'm missing something, I don't remember a big game where I thought, God, that was the reason they lost. Like when they got to step up and play, they're teeing off on dudes and they're not letting you break tackles. Can you remember a game like that, like a big game where they were like brutal tackling? It seems like when they play teams that are kind of like, I don't know, below 500, maybe not great teams, that's when they kind of maybe lose their focus a little bit.
I actually think that's a fair point. I do think our defense runs hot on emotion. And I think if sometimes there's not the emotional component there, which usually lends itself to a bigger game, a bigger matchup, more stars, what have you, they aren't as focused is probably the best word. And, we're armchair quarterbacks. We're nitpicking. But, I don't want to see the Cardinals gain 460 whatever yards against us. It's just that part. Let's face it. Like I said, it's all about how many points do you score and how many do you give up. Everything else doesn't really matter in the end. But you look for clues on things that could be problematic come elimination time. And do I think that's going to happen? No, but I have to have something to talk about on Monday night. I can't say we're perfect every week.
Yeah.
Hey, we're perfect. You've got first world problems when you're arguing which guy on the team is going to be the MVP.
Yes, so exactly.
That is so. We got to keep everybody grounded at least a little bit.
Talking to Brent Jones on the UMA guest line. Brent, let's cut the crap. All right, let's cut the crap. Who's the MVP? Is it Purdy or is it McCaffrey?
Yeah, you guys. So I love both of those guys. I love the way they play. I love the way they handle themselves. They're both having historic seasons. McCaffrey's, I really thought all along Brock Purdy has been a stud. He's been undervalued by way too many people, and people are starting to jump on the bandwagon, and he's been ridiculous in a great way. I think McCaffrey is closing the gap and making it even tougher just with what he's doing, both rushing and receiving and blocking and all the other things. it typically goes to a quarterback. I'm just very hypersensitive, and I don't know why, but I am about Brock being disrespected. And we've been on it early, and we've thought he was the guy, and we've talked about him battling through and the way that he handles himself on the field, how he doesn't get too rattled, how he's ridiculously accurate, just all the things, how he's distributing, how he's making throws. You know, people say, oh, your guys have yards after the catch. Statistically, that is incorrect. He's throwing it longer and further and more accurate than anybody. He's got the touchdowns. He's got less interceptions. He's got all the things in an award that almost historically goes to quarterbacks. So will I be excited for Christian McCaffrey if he wins it? Yes. But am I going to be frustrated if Brock continues to have a historic season and doesn't traditionally win an award that goes to the premier quarterback on the best team in the league typically? So it's hard for me right now because I'll be happy. Let's face it, both guys are deserving. I just don't want Brock to be disrespected because it's an easy out for people that don't want to vote for him to vote for Christian McCaffrey, if that makes sense.
Back when you played, do you remember? Because I've been saying that everybody wants to say, well, look at all the weapons Brock has. There's a reason that he's doing as well as he is. And I say, well, yeah, that's kind of the way it works. He props them up, they prop him up. They go, it works that way. Do you remember writers or national media saying that Joe Montana was as good as he was because of Bill Walsh or because of Jerry Rice or, let's face it, because of you? Do you remember any of that, or was it just he's really good and he's playing really good and the Niners are really good and everybody's really good? I'm just getting tired of I think it's dying down a little bit, Brent, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of the way it works. They help him out, he helps them out. Everybody makes everybody better.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever won the MVP as a quarterback without massive weapons on their team.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. No, nobody ever said or wrote that about Joe. Of course, I would tell him, but that was just me being me. That was just me fighting for some tight end respect. And of course, I told Steve constantly.
Yes.
But you know, it's so hard to make that argument, and it's ridiculous, and it's just the way that it goes, right? The best quarterbacks are typically going to deliver the ball to some of the best weapons. And the best weapons are going to be the best weapons because they have a quarterback that can deliver them the ball. And you look at the frustration around the league on a lot of teams this year. There's some teams with great quarterbacks and horrific receivers, and then there's some great receivers with horrific quarterbacks, and nobody's happy on those teams, and nobody's winning MVP or coming close to it. And so it's a stupid argument. It's an argument for people that don't understand the way the game is played. It just really is. It's just a backdoor argument, naysayer. It doesn't make sense.
Talking to Brent Jones here on the UMA guest line. So we were saying and we played a piece of sound from Chris Collinsworth and Tirico from last night's game where they were sort of having the debate between Purdy and Lamar Jackson and the impact they have on their teams. And I said, to me, the argument that people are making with discrediting Brock by the talent around him, if you're going to do that, then you think Lamar is probably the MVP because Lamar, I understand the argument that if you pull Lamar off his team, you pull Brock off the Niners are still probably a better team all around than the Ravens are. Lamar makes that entire thing go. I get that. His weight, they're top loaded with what his talent and ability brings to the offense, whereas Brock doesn't have to do as much as Lamar does. He's not out there running. He's not operating all of it, though he's an elite processor. So I understand the debate, but what's your definition of an MVP, and does Brock fall into that? It sounds like for you he does.
It absolutely is the case with Brock. He does, and I get it. Nobody ends up arguing, hey, if we took this guy off the team and what happens this other guy take. They end up going statistically, and Adam, we know that. I mean, that's the way it's done. That's the way quarterbacks have won MVPs historically. You're going to look at touchdowns to interceptions. You're going to look at QBR. You're going to look at whatever completion percentage, which is all wrapped up in QBR, and those are eventually what wins you the MVP. The guy that's usually at the top, if his team is amongst the premier teams in the league, is going to get it. Now, if it's a guy, getting stats in garbage time and his team's, 9-7, and maybe you can have that argument that maybe that guy shouldn't be the MVP. But I'm just saying what it is historically and what it's become. And so you can't all of a sudden change it this year because the 49ers have Mr. Irrelevant dominating the league and crushing people. I'm not going to back down on that. And that's, for me, I get it. I see where Chris Collinsworth's coming from, but, that's the wrong answer. That's the wrong outcome. And I just think that this year, that's Lamar Jackson isn't the guy. Brock Purdy is, and it just is. And it was going to be Dak. I mean, that was the buzz. The buzz became it was Dak, and it's easy to throw it to a Cowboy guy, but Dak, fell apart against the Bills and crash landed, and Brock threw 4 touchdowns. So I'm not going to stand down on this one. And I guess if people want to, I think that there's going to be some type of a vote split. I think McCaffrey's going to be in there for sure. And like I said, if he wins it, I'm going to be thrilled for the young man. He's a stud. I was so happy the day that we traded for him, and there were a lot of people that were either not happy or not emotional about it and thought, oh, man, we're probably giving up too much. I just remember being blown away. Like, do these people watch his games? Do they really know what he does and what he adds? And it's ridiculous. So those are some of the same people right now that are probably taking out Brock. But, yeah, I mean, in the end, if this team keeps playing like it's capable of playing, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And whoever wins the MVP, that's great. They're going to be happy. But these guys would rather have a Super Bowl and have a Super Bowl ring. It's been a long time since the Niners won. And so in the end, arguing about that, I think both guys are so humble and respected that if they win it, great, and if they don't win it, great. But they want to win the Super Bowl. And that's where their focus is. It's not on statistics.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. What I said, and I'll see if you agree with me, if the Ravens come and beat the Niners on Christmas and finish with the league's best record, then I'll give it to Lamar Jackson. Because I don't know if I could ever go wrong taking the best player on the best team in the league. If Brock wins, then Brock probably gets it. But I gotta include Lamar based on what I've just seen of him. But would that be okay? Like, if you look at it and go, okay, yeah, best team, best player, or no?
You know what? I think that's a fair argument, Tom. I should be up to speed on Lamar's most recent stats. I just remember coming in the last week or two, I glanced at it. He didn't have the same. I think I remember him not being in the ballpark completion percentage-wise or touchdown pass-wise. So he and he hasn't run the ball as much as he has in the past. So, I mean, I don't want to give a guy that's the 8th or 9th or 10th ranked quarterback in the league because the team wins one game, the MVP, over a guy that statistically has outperformed him all year. So I need to go back and look at his stats. And I mean, we're 2 or 3 weeks premature, but that's how I look at it. Now, if he's, if it's, the number 1 versus the number 3 or 4 guy and his team wins it, yeah, I absolutely would give it to him. But I don't want a guy that's the 10th rated, and those quarterback ratings, I know they're probably more subjective, but they take into account a lot of things that define the success of a quarterback, right? And so you have to, at some point, it wouldn't exist as a statistic if it didn't have some weight to it. And I know,
Sure.
and you want to break it down. You want to, completion percentage is important, but yards, touchdowns, those things, big plays, chunk plays. But yeah, I don't want to lose my mind on it. And if they're close, yeah, you got to go with the guy, best player on the best team. But if Lamar hasn't had a historic, quarterbacking year, and like I said, I'm a couple weeks behind. I should have looked at that tonight. I didn't think about it, but
to your point, I just looked it up. So QBR kind of takes into account everything: running, passing, all that. Purdy's number 1 in the league, 76. Prescott's number 2, 72.7. Lamar Jackson's 60. So he's not even close.
Yeah.
He's 16 points behind.
Does it say how many touchdown passes he has?
It doesn't. I don't have the stats, but I did have that up.
You want Lamar's touchdown stats?
Lamar Jackson touchdown passes.
He's got 17 touchdown
17.
passes. But he has rushing touchdowns as well.
Okay, to 25, and I get it. Rushing touchdowns, those should count to a degree. I think I remember him being like, this sounds weird, but like 1,000 yards behind in total yards.
Could be.
Or
because he's at 2,000.
It's going to be. Like Purdy might break Joe and Steve's records from a single season. And to have those guys get the MVPs in those seasons that they did that, and to have Purdy not, that would be frustrating for me. And I'm sure Brock, he probably cares about it less than we're arguing it. I'm just trying to make sure a guy gets the credit that's due. And McCaffrey's had a ridiculous season and is going to end up ridiculous. We're arguing about stuff that I usually make fun of people are arguing about. It's like, who cares? It's all about Super Bowls, and it's about, winning and doing that stuff. But, yeah, I just don't feel good about somebody earning something and then being cut short.
Hey, Brent, what the hell you think we do when a team wins 45-29 every week? I mean, we
got to break.
You want to make up other stuff to talk about?
Man, I got 4 hours.
This is what we got. You want to talk about the curl route by Ayuk? I mean,
we'll talk about the McBride catch up the sideline right to start the game.
By the way, we haven't talked enough about the game itself, but I'm going to say something. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk was by far our best wide receiver in terms of technical route running and awareness, all that. Deebo has narrowed the gap drastically. It's not because Ayuk isn't great. It's because Deebo has become a more I was going to say a most excellent receiver, and that would be sound
most
like
excellent dudes. Nice dude. Most excellent receiver. I like that.
But yeah, I'm gonna say that he's becoming the most excellent receiver. That back shoulder by Purdy to Deebo, that was so legit. And I don't know if Deebo makes that or adjusts to that, a year or two ago. So he is really, really coming on. He obviously is a beast with the ball in his hand, his rushing, whatever, and you get him on a slant. But he's doing more than just that in a massive way this year. And you want guys to have credit. Our offensive line was opening up some gaping holes. We gave up no sacks. We got to give those guys credit. I think that as the season has gone along, they have become better and better. And that was a question mark, early on. And I think, of course, our left side is strong, but our right side, we got to give those guys credit as well. And so it's nice to see this team playing, hitting on all cylinders, playing well, supporting each other, and I just want guys to be recognized for the efforts that they put in, because this team has done some tremendous things. There's a long way to go. These things only count if you win it all. If you don't, throw it all out the window.
Yep.
So
we talked about this earlier. Right now, the way the Eagles are playing, what happened to the Cowboys yesterday in Buffalo, Detroit had a nice win against Denver, but they were kind of coming back down to earth a little bit. it's looking less and less likely. Like there's a team. Like I don't think a team can beat the Niners unless the Niners help them. Turnovers, dumb stuff, penalties, stuff like that. Like I think they're going to have to help a team beat them. And again, it could happen. It's a one-game playoff scenario. It could happen. But if they have home field and only got to win 2 games to get the bye, to me, it's looking less and less likely that like any team could just come in and straight up beat them. No turnovers, no goofy official stuff, just man on man, let's go. I just don't see it anymore. I don't see a team in the NFC that can handle them.
You know, I agree with you. The one team that you're going to laugh. The one team that I woke up this morning and thought, I really don't want to play them.
I know you're going to say
the Rams.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, I've been saying.
We were just talking about
that same thing. Dude, I was saying, the Rams.
Dude, really?
Right.
I do not, because you get healthy, it's a division opponent, and you know things that most teams don't know. And for one game, you could, a turnover or 2 here, a bad call, which you can expect every week now in the NFL. That's the one team that I do not want to see at all. And I'm laughing to myself saying that, because I thought, I would never say that, but I'm saying that. It's like, I hope they don't make the playoffs, and if they do, I hope they're not anywhere near playing us, because it's just too creepy for me to think that those guys would come in for a 3rd time this year and we have to play them. And yeah, they're just something about that team that just freaks me out. I'm not sure why.
Niners own the Rams, though.
I know. We've owned them for years. The Rams owned the Niners when I was a kid. Like, you couldn't beat the Rams in my lifetime. I thought the Rams are like the ultimate. It was like the Warriors couldn't beat Lou Alcindor back in the day, or the Lakers. Man, when I was growing up, it's like impossible. It just never would happen. That was kind of like the Rams when I was growing up. And then we beat them for like 25 years straight, like a drum, other than their Super Bowl year. And it's like, man, it's just somehow, some way, I've seen them enough the last few weeks, and whatever they're doing, like they're moving the ball, they're running around, it's been a good job of coaching by Sean McVay, because I thought they were going to be like a 4-12, 4-13 team this year, but that's the one. But yeah, we can't worry about that right now.
Dude, at least
let's go ahead, Cubs.
I was gonna say at least your Warriors were losing to Lou Alcindor. Mine were losing to like Sasha Vujacic and like Jordan Farmar on the Lakers. You know what I mean? I was like, won a game for like 15 years in LA to like Farmar and the machine Sasha Vujacic. I was like, get the hell out of here, man. It's nice to flip the script. It was nice to flip it a bit. I'm with you.
Brent, as always, great job, great catching up with you. Have a great week, and we will look forward to talking to you probably about 2 weeks, because we're going to be off for Christmas.
I don't know if I'm calling on Christmas.
No,
Day.
I'll text you. I'll wake you up and text you.
You'll
wake me up.
You have to. You guys have to do that. You guys have a great Christmas. Maybe I'll just call on Tuesday after Christmas, Tom. I don't know. You probably got days off. But, Copes, I know that I'll get a chance to talk to you.
I bet you won't. I bet you won't, brother. I bet you won't. I bet you won't.
No way.
Me and Tom are both we're taking off the same time. So so you'll have a great time. We actually have a bunch of good shows lined up. Derek will talk to you when we get off here. But you'll talk to somebody else next week, bro.
Okay. Hey, glad you guys are committed down the stretch.
Hey, get out of here.
You know who you're going to get? No joke. You know who you're going to get next Tuesday? If you call in on Tuesday next week, you're going to talk to Rod Brooks and Dante Whitner. That's who's filling in for me and Tom.
You know what? They will just talk defense.
That's it.
Big hits.
There you go. Defense and big hits, dude. Merry Christmas, Brent. We'll see you later, bro.
Merry Christmas, Brent.
Good stuff there. We got Rod and Dante in for us next Tuesday. I think Rod's in for us a couple of days next week. But we'll get you that full schedule, of course, a little bit later in the week. Tom and I are off on Thursday and Friday, and then through the end of the year. So we'll have a whole bunch of Christmas fun this week before we get you some fill-in guests next week. When we come on back, we got to get a thought on the Warriors, as they've won 2 in a row for the first time since November.
Same script, both games.
That was, dude, I know. Let's just cough a third quarter.
Did you ever see Vacation?
Pull this one out. Yeah, of course.
Remember John Candy goes, I like the roller coaster, where he goes way up high, then way down. That's the Warriors.
That's the Warriors season
Like,
now.
we got a 24-point lead. Oh, it's a 1 point. Oh, we're losing now. Oh, it's a 7-point lead. Oh, it's tied again. I mean, these guys, it's time to duck and cover when they get a 20-point lead, because just go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, come back. Probably down to about 4.
It'll be a ball game. Yeah, you'll have a ball game.
It's unbelievable. It really, they just can't do it easy.
Are Clay and Wiggins playing better basketball? Who'd have thought they'd win back-to-back games? And that Steph wouldn't make a three-pointer. That streak comes to an end after 268 consecutive games. We'll talk more about the Warriors winning 2 in a row over the weekend. And then Matt Mayoko at 4:30, your Sound Soiree, and Monday Night Football in about an hour. That's all next on the Sports Leader.
I was going to say a most excellent receiver, and that would be Sound.
Most excellent, dudes.
69, dudes!
Campbell, shout out to you for supporting KNBR, Campbell's Sports Leader.
The 49ers put up their highest point total yet as they beat up on the Cardinals 45-29. They clinched their second straight NFC West division title. There's more on that story. It's trending on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Tolbert and Copes continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix progressive jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I wish I knew. I remember 5 or 6 years ago, we always would have these great third quarters, and people would ask what we were doing coaching-wise to lead to those great third quarters. And it's like, I'm giving this great speech or something. I wasn't doing anything then, and I'm not doing anything now. We just go in at halftime. We talk about the game plan. We talk about our keys, and I think. We had a great first half, and it seemed to me in the third quarter we had really good shots, and we just missed shots, and they took advantage of a lot of our misses, got out and ran. We weren't great in transition defensively and gave up 35 points that quarter, so everything changed from there.
As the voice of Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, he joins us every week. We talked to him last week a couple of times after the losses and the Draymond suspension. Of course, if you missed any of that, a really good conversation with Steve Kerr on Friday evening. It's all available on KNBR.com. They've won back-to-back games for the first time, I said, since November. It's funny, during the break I went in and I was in the control room with Tim. And he's got the TV on in there, and we were watching ESPN, and Kendrick Perkins was talking to whoever it was on SportsCenter, and the bottom line, like the graphic on the bottom third of the screen said, Warriors in 11th place have lost 3 of their last 5 games. I was like, That's a deceiving way to say that. Yeah. Okay. They've also won 2 of their last 3. How about that?
Wow.
What are we talking about?
Come on.
What are we
really?
doing, ESPN? Yeah, they're in 11th place. I get it. You can talk about them and how bad things have gone in the third quarter, which is what we're talking about now. But to phrase it like that is just sort of funny. Not the biggest challenges in the Nets and the Blazers, which is fine. I actually said that to you. I said that Blazers game looks a little tougher now than it did when a couple of weeks ago. I thought that's a game they should win easily. They end up going up big and blowing second-half leads in both of them. Still found a way to win. Clay and Wiggins stand out to me as having played better. You acknowledge that last segment.
Yes, absolutely. Clay's been playing better. I think Clay, if you watch Clay play now, it's not just threes. He's getting to the rim. I asked him against, and this will give you a little mindset into Clay, what I've been talking about with him, like he's so hard on himself. The Brooklyn game, he must have shot 5 runners in that game. I've never seen him shoot so many runners in my life. And for those that don't know what a runner is, it's instead of going off 2 feet for a jump shot, you're dribbling toward the bucket, and all of a sudden you just kind of lift off with your left leg, and you're like kind of running into the shot and shoot it kind of leaning a little. Not really leaning, but off one leg. And
you're
kind
moving towards or to the side.
As you're going forward, yeah. So I asked him about that, and he goes, I just, oh, man. Just missed so many shots. I wish there's some shots I got to make tonight. And I'm like, why you say, you're always so hard. I told him, you're always so hard on yourself. I go, do you realize if you made every shot you think you should make, you'd make every one of them? And he said, yeah, you're probably right. Dude, like he thinks he should make every shot for some reason. Like it's pretty. Like he is so hard on himself when he misses. But
is that a bad mentality for a shooter? Like
it can be because you get. I mean, you could see it too. I think it affects some other parts of his game, and because that's really what he's thinking about is making shots, and instead of just thinking that one of the best shooters of all time. But maybe that's how he got to be that way. But he's just a great shooter. Period. Yeah. But over the last couple games, I've seen it. I've seen him take mid-range shots, put the ball on the ground, pass the ball to the cutters, pump fake, get himself to the free throw line. Like it's almost like in a 2-game span, you kind of see him transforming into a different offensive player a little bit instead of a guy that's just hunting jump shots, just hunting 3-point shots, just hanging around the perimeter. And that Wiggins' aggressiveness has been fantastic. I mean, he's really gotten. He hasn't made all the shots. He'll make more of those. But I love the fact he's heading downhill. Whenever he gets going downhill, he's so much better offensively.
Because he's
so
athletic. He's tough to stop.
Yep, and he's strong, and he's got lift. He can get up around the rim. So he just, yes. Now, that being said, all that being said, have they played better? Yes. Is Pajemski been really good for him in the starting lineup? Yes. I think Kuminga's played better. It wasn't his best game last night, but he's been progressively getting a little bit better with just kind of his understanding of what he needs to do. But I mean, that was against Brooklyn and Portland. Now they got Washington and Portland. So we'll see after that. They got Boston first, then they got Washington, Portland, and then it gets a little bit more difficult. Then it's Denver, then it's Miami, then it's Dallas, then it's Orlando. Like, the games start coming where it's like, okay, now we're going to start playing some pretty good teams. So we'll see what they're all about. It's not going to be easy without Draymond for the next at least 3 weeks, but they are like, this is kind of what you need. Like, if you want to compete, if they really want to compete, I've said it's going to be about Wiggins and Clay, and it is. I mean, without those two, all the rest of it doesn't matter. But I love the fact that Podziemski kind of understands the game, and he just knows how to play ball. He just knows how to play ball. And everything seems, I mean, they won a game last night. You could say it was Portland. I'll say, yeah, they won a game, didn't make it 3. Won a game where Steph scored 7.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like, they don't. The bench has still been pretty damn good for him this year. The starters have not been good for him, but the bench has been solid for him. Like, if you had gone into the season saying this is what your bench is going to do, you'd be like, good, we're solid. We're going to be good to go. We'll be a top 4. So it just hasn't worked out that way. But yes, I can see some signs, no doubt.
As you mentioned, Steph, 268 consecutive games with a three-pointer made comes to an end. Yesterday, he goes 0 for 8 from 3. You mentioned the 7 points. So, yeah, that is a positive that you won a game where Steph not only was not at his best, wasn't really Steph in the capacity that you need him to score. Still has the impact on the floor, of course, because you got to account for him. One more note here. According to Shams Charania, Draymond Green started his counseling process. He's expected to remain sidelined for at least the next 3 weeks. So 3 weeks would put us into the second week of January, I guess. It'd be all of this week. You get Boston tomorrow, Washington Friday, Portland on Saturday. It's about 10 games he would miss from this point on. So, again, 3 home games this week, Boston, Washington, Portland. That's a back-to-back Friday, Saturday, then off Sunday and Monday on Christmas in Denver. It'll be a tough game. We will talk more 49er football, though, with Matt Mayoko, who I saw down in Arizona yesterday. Niners win 45-29 over the Arizona Cardinals. They did give up over 200 yards on the ground, 400 yards plus of total offense. They get outgained, but they outscored the Cardinals, and they are NFC West champs. We'll talk to Matt Mayoko next on The Sports Leader. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gentlemen especially. Adam Copeland here for Pajamagram. That's right. Pajamagram's back for all your Christmas needs and all your getting down and dirty needs. Yeah, that's right. That's what Pajamagram is here to help you do. Naturally nude pajamas, they're known for their ultimate comfort and style. They're soft, silky, sexy, smooth. They're better than skin, Tim. Better than lingerie with a curve caressing fit. Here's the kicker. When you order this, they're going to send you the Naturally Nude nightie in addition to the Naturally Nude pajamas. The Naturally Nude pajamas, the Naturally Nude nightie, 2 gifts, price of 1, plus they'll gift wrap it for you. Does not get any better than that, guys. This holiday gift, give her a gift that is sure to make her happy. Give her the gift of PJs, and she'll be sure to give you a great gift, too. How about that? Hurry. Go to Pajamagram for their Naturally Nude pajamas before they sell out. Here's what you do. That's go to Pajamagram.com right now. Order the Naturally Nude pajamas. You'll get the Naturally Nude nightie. They'll gift wrap it, and then you'll tell them that Adam Copeland sent you.
faithful. Here's NBC Sports Bay Area's Matt Mayoko bringing the latest Niner news to Tolbert and Copes.
Sponsored by the Dolan Law Firm. The best lawyers they hope you never need. DolanLawFirm.com.
On the Sports Leader.
We do it every week, every Monday following a 49er game with Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area. He's our 49er insider. Saw him down there in Arizona at State Farm Stadium yesterday as the Niners win 45-29 over the Cardinals. They clinched the division. It's their highest scoring game of the season. And Matt Mayoko's here courtesy of the UMA guest line. What's up, Matt? How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. We've been going back and forth. I think a lot of people today have about Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, which is funny that a lot of the debate, I think, internally here with 49er fans and with us on KNBR was Brock's ability this season and what he's done for this team and put himself in MVP candidacy. But after yesterday's game, it seems like a lot of the debate is like, okay, well, who's even the better MVP candidate for the Niners? Is it McCaffrey or is it Brock Purdy?
And it's a great debate. And it's a tough one to answer. I mean, I think the way I'm thinking is, if you're looking at league-wide honors, I think Brock Purdy is the MVP, and I think Christian McCaffrey is the Offensive Player of the Year. And I don't know how often those two individuals are different. Usually the Offensive Player of the Year is also the MVP. But I think in this case it makes sense. Kind of nitpicking, I guess, on the MVP part of it. Like what is most valuable? I just think that the way the league is going, or has been going for quite some time, the quarterback is such a quarterback-driven league, and because Brock Purdy is playing at such a high level, and he's the one oftentimes distributing the ball to McCaffrey and everybody else, that puts him on a level where if the 49ers had an average running back, they'd still be very good. I think if they had an average quarterback, they wouldn't be nearly as good as they are because Purdy he's just been steady. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Purdy MVP, McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year.
Does it surprise you at all? Like you watch, and this has something to do with the Cardinals maybe a little bit, but the fact that you have all these playmakers all over the place and Shanahan diagramming these plays. I mean, 2 touchdowns they got yesterday were 2, maybe all pros. They're definitely going to be Pro Bowlers, whether they play or not, it's a different story. But all pros and McCaffrey and Debo were wide open. I mean, just flat wide open that nobody knew where the hell they were. And I'm thinking that's probably a combination of everything, right? The Cardinals' inefficiencies and Shanahan. But it's still, isn't it shocking to see guys of that caliber just like kind of like they're like kind of jogging in a meadow?
Yeah, no, you're right. And the first one to Debo was completely crazy because it ended up being a 12-yard touchdown pass. And according to Next Gen, he had 12.7 yards of separation. and it was a play where, here's where the 49ers used their own bad tendency to help them. Deebo Samuel, when the ball's not going to him, he doesn't necessarily always carry out the play fake with, all kinds of, with the gusto, let's just say, that Christian McCaffrey does. And even the week before, when Deebo caught that touchdown pass, he didn't know that, or he didn't think that he was going to be an option on that play. So he even admitted that he wasn't running all that hard. He was just kind of gliding. And then once he saw that Purdy was looking his way, he sped up. So on that particular play, early in that game yesterday, it was almost like Debo dial it back even more. Debo said that his job was basically to just be lazy, run in motion and then just kind of throttle it down to give the appearance that there was no way the ball was going to him, and then speed up and go get it. So it was almost like, I know they saw stuff on tape for the Cardinals defense that would enable that play to work, but also they used their own bad tendencies that the other team scouted to their advantage.
Doesn't that give Debo license from here on out to go, yeah, look, being lazy works for me?
Absolutely, because now teams are going to have to respect his laziness.
Respect the laziness, dude. That's good. Great line from Matt Mayoko. Yeah, Tim on the other side of the glass, because I've been waiting my whole life for that. Have people respect my laziness. Haven't we all, Tim? Matt Mayoko, our 49er insider from NBC Sports Bay Area. What did you make of them and their defense of Kyler Murray? Because we talked, you and I did before the game, that he's a little bit different of a quarterback. He hadn't actually been running nearly as much, I think, and maybe that was a product of the pressure that he saw yesterday, but I thought he got out and did some damage with his legs. Now, Lamar Jackson, a different type of runner, but he can climb the pocket and is just as evasive in the backfield, kind of as a hybrid, I feel like, in the way that Jalen Hurts runs and the way that Kyler Murray does. What did you think of their defense of him as we look forward to next Monday against the Ravens?
Well, I mean, their defense of him in the passing game was really good. I mean, specifically Charvarius Ward, picking him off twice in the pick six. The run game, as far as he goes, I don't think it killed them. Yeah, he got some yards, but, it was more James Conner and
DeMarcado.
DeMarcado that just broke tons of tackles. So that's one area that was, I know a lot of guys in the locker room, it's just kind of like bittersweet. Yeah, they're wearing the fresh new hats and the T-shirts, but to give up 234 yards rushing, that wasn't what they wanted. So I think the absences of Armstead and Javon Hargrave really showed up. And I mean, we talked about that on the pregame show. Like, you knew that that's what the Cardinals were going to do. You knew that they were going to try to run the ball on the 49ers. And so you would have thought that the guys who were filling in would kind of step up, knowing that was going to be where the Cardinals were going to kind of see a vulnerability. And so I guess it really kind of outlines the importance of Armstead and Hargrave to that defensive front.
I don't know how you look at the NFC as a whole, Matt, but it seems like the Niners are kind of ascending, and maybe they kind of ascend at different rates, while the rest of the NFC is kind of descending a little bit, where the Eagles aren't maybe what I thought they were a couple weeks ago. Cowboys took another beating on the road. Lions had a good win, but haven't looked great recently. Brent brought up a point, and we both agree. We brought it up a couple hours ago. Like, the Rams are like, with Kyron Williams back and Stafford doing what Stafford does, like, they're a team that, like, ought to be interesting if they make the playoffs come playoff time. But what I once thought was going to be like, man, these games are going to be incredible. They still might be. But I don't know. Does it seem the same way to you? Like, the luster's off the Lions, the Eagles, and the Cowboys a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a roller coaster. The Eagles have been kind of descending a little bit. We'll see how they play tonight. Up until Sunday, I thought the Cowboys were the second best team in the NFC, and heck, maybe even the second best team in all of football. But they stumble and got just absolutely blown out. I was about ready to write the Lions off, but then they bounced back and have a pretty decent game against a Denver team that had been playing well up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers just seem right now like they're just a notch or maybe even a couple of notches above everybody else. But, yeah, I'm kind of keeping my eyes on the Rams, too, because the Rams could very well end up Week 18 being in the exact same position as the 49ers were 2 years ago, where the 49ers kind of have things wrapped up a little bit, and the Rams need that win. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. But, I mean, I think I've said this before, the 49ers' biggest problem at this point is that there's still a month to go before they play a game that is really, really meaningful. These last three games are meaningful because they can wrap up home field advantage. But as far as an elimination game, there's still a lot of football and a lot of time for teams to catch their stride or teams to kind of fall back a little bit. So, right now, the way the 49ers are playing, if they keep improving on what they're doing, then there's no question that they are the team that every other team will kind of aspire to be once the postseason begins. Right now, they're looking stronger than any team in the NFL.
Well, and Matt, what I was saying earlier is if you play the Rams Week 18, say they get in as like a 6 or a 7, it's not out of the realm of possibility you're playing them again Week 20 in divisional round.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, there could be a rematch. And, now I would say 4 weeks ago, I didn't think that there was any chance that 1, 2, and 3 in the NFL, in the NFC, had any chance of losing in that first round of the playoffs. Now I think that, that's possible. It's very possible that the NFC East winner, whether that's the 2 or the 3 seed, loses to a wild card team. And I think it's totally possible that even at home that the Lions lose to a wild card team. So I think now it's just not as it's not as clear cut as it right now as it looked to me about a month ago.
What are your kind of first impressions? I know we're still a week away, but kind of first impressions, first thoughts on the Ravens-Niners, and what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I mean, I want to see if the Ravens are all that. I know there will be a lot of talk here in the next 7 days about the possibility that this is a preview of Super Bowl 58. There's some teams. There's a team in Buffalo right now that probably the other teams in the AFC don't want to see in the playoffs. But I haven't seen Baltimore play all that much. I just caught a little bit of the game last night, so I'm kind of curious to see if they're a team that can hang toe-to-toe with the 49ers and slug it out. So it'll be a really good test for the 49ers. Not that they need any more good tests. They've been kind of battle-tested throughout the second half of the season. But, yeah, I just want to see how those teams match up and if it's possible that, that these teams could meet again second week in February. And the other part, kind of how we started this conversation, on the national stage, Christmas night, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, this is kind of moving day. This will be the game, I think, that really kind of solidifies it, because, I don't know that either one of them is going to do anything, one way or the other in the final 2 games against the Commanders or the Rams to kind of convince voters where that thing is going as far as the postseason awards. So I think that's going to be a huge one because the entire football community will be watching.
Yep.
Matt, we always appreciate the time, man. It's been it's Christmas week now. We're about a week from Christmas, and I'll see you on Christmas Day at the Ravens and Niner game. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tom and I were saying it's so rare. You get 2 number 1 seeds, week 16. And you're right, could be a preview for the Super Bowl. Should be a lot of fun, man. We'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Good deal there,
Merry
Matt
Christmas,
Mayoko.
Matt.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, dude. Our 49er insider from NBC Sports Bay Area, Matt Mayoko, does a great job covering the team and the 49er Talk podcast. I saw him recording one last night with Jennifer Lee Chan after the Niners' 45-29 victory over the Cardinals. We do have that game coming up, by the way. Geno Smith, I guess he's active, and then Adam Schefter said just because he's active doesn't mean he's starting. I said, well, yeah, thanks, Adam. It sounds like Jalen Hurts is going to start, despite the illness. He traveled separate from the team, but Philadelphia is up now to a 4-point favorite in this one. Over-under has moved up to 47. So we can talk more about this one. We will throw you, by the way, to kickoff of that game at 5:15. So in about a half hour, just under a half hour, till Monday Night Football. When we come on back, your sound soiree, the best sounds from across sports this weekend that you might have missed. That's coming up next, and then Monday Night Football only here on the Sports Leader. Steph Curry's 268 games with a three-pointer made came to an end last night in the Warriors' 118-114 win over Portland. That story and more trending now on KNBR.com and the KNBR app. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Copeland here for Furlong Vision Correction down in San Jose. I've been telling you guys about this for a few years. It's because, well, it's an easy thing to endorse, especially when you're somebody like me who has had their LASIK vision procedure done by Dr. Furlong and Dr. Sane, who have yet again been voted the best LASIK surgeons in the Silicon Valley, and I know why. They use the most advanced FDA-approved technology, but it's not even that. Everybody should be doing that anyway. But what they're doing is they're customizing things specifically to you and your eyes. We've all got different vision maps. We've all got different vision. We've had different issues with our eyes. Everybody is unique, and that's why they used a Contura topography-guided LASIK. Again, the most advanced approved, FDA-approved technology. And it measures up to 22,000 evaluation points. It creates a customized vision map, like I said, completely unique to you and your eyes. Your eyes and your vision deserve the best. Book that vision correction appointment at furlongvision.com, and you can learn more. They will definitely focus on your vision. You want to start seeing better? Go see the absolute best. It's my guy, Dr. Michael Furlong at furlongvision.com.
That's what you get for watching the draft. All right? Well, once again, what kind of a f***ing loser just sits there watching round after round? The Jets are up next. I think they need a cornerback. They need to improve the defensive line.
This is Tolbert and Cope's Sound Soiree.
No, I've whipped up this nasty little soiree.
The best sounds you might have missed.
What?
Soiree, honey. I think that means party.
On the Sports Leader.
All right, your sound soiree for Monday, December 18th, 2023. Quickly here, we just had the soundbite play, the cue to call for the Bill Burr tickets we're giving away. Shout out Jonathan. Jonathan down in San Jose is our winner of 2 Bill Burr tickets. He's going to go see Bill Burr next summer, June 19th, 2024 at the San Jose Civic Center. Listen all week long. We'll give you another opportunity to win 2 more Bill Burr tickets tomorrow between 2 and 6. Furnished by Live Nation. Tickets are on sale at livenation.com. All right, your sound soiree for Monday, December 18th, 2023. Mondays are always good because we get a lot of good sound from the weekend. Let's start with the 49ers. George Kittle was asked after the game about what we've been talking about all day, the MVP race between Purdy and McCaffrey. Is it between those two guys? Here's what George Kittle had to say.
We wanted to actually stand on a soapbox for this for a while. You know, quarterbacks are definitely like the most important piece of a team. You know, you got everyone's talking about Purdy, everyone's talking about Dak, and that MVP race. But then you look at guys like, and Brock's doing a great job, and he deserves all the love that he's getting. But you got a guy like Christian McCaffrey and all the things that he's doing for us in the run game and the pass game, and just absolutely elite every single Sunday, scoring touchdowns. He had 3 today. I mean, he has 7 touchdowns versus the Cardinals this year. It's pretty impressive. The things that him and Tyreek are doing constantly, I mean, I don't know how you don't have them both in the MVP conversation, and I'm all for, quarterbacks win the award. It's an important position, but the things that they consistently do week in and week out, you got to have Christian up there because he is unguardable and he's the most unique position in football.
I don't disagree with any of that. And I love when it's guys who are within the team and the roster. I mean, Brock was saying it yesterday. They asked Brock about the MVP. And he was like, I think it's Christian McCaffrey. He's like, he said, Brock had a great line where he said, half the time I just hand him the ball and I stand there and watch him. And he's like, he's the guy who's like, guys are missing him and breaking off him because then he runs back to the sideline and uses the Theragun and is always moving around. He's like, what that guy does, like, then he goes, he gets out there to catch some balls, he breaks some tackles, scores a touchdown, catches a touchdown. He's like, when Brock Purdy's sitting there, like, yeah, man, I'm sure Brock would love to win it. What this would do for his career and his legacy is obviously incredible. The guy wants to win a Super Bowl. That's what it's about. McCaffrey, totally deserving. There's no wrong answer here in my mind. He's taken this team to another level. I mean, again, you said every time they touch the ball, you expect him to score. I don't know that I've ever felt that way about a Niner offense.
Well, someone's special and someone's different when other pros want to watch him play.
Yeah.
Like, there are just guys like that. There are just guys like that in the NBA. Like, I mean, Jordan was the ultimate, but Bird was that way too. Although not much Bird. Usually I was guarding Bird, which sucked for me. But if you weren't guarding him, you did find yourself occasionally going, holy bleep. Like, this guy's unreal. And then on the bench, you really found yourself doing that, like just watching all the stuff that he could do. When you're on the court, you didn't do that as much. They might do something that would just like you go, whoa, wow, that was incredible. But then you get back to business. But yeah, when you're on the bench, yeah, I mean Bird and Magic and Jordan and all those guys, you're just like, holy bleep, like that is. Because you're comparing them against the best, and they're just better. And some of the stuff they do, I don't think I played a lot of minutes. I might have played a few minutes. I don't want to get too long-winded here because we're in the middle of the soiree.
You're good.
But when Mully and Magic had their game, the playoff game down in L.A., I want to say Magic had 44, Magic had 44, Mully had 42, or something like that. But I was on the bench. I don't think I played a ton that game. And it was just like, I felt like a fan, just like watching them, like go back and forth. It's like, good night. So when you hear guys say like they want to watch, like when McCaffrey's doing stuff, you want to watch what he's doing, and that's when you know like you're a little bit different than most. Because again, they're comparing you against everybody else in the league who's already really good, and they've seen it. And like they don't need to like, whatever. I don't need to get up and watch this. But when somebody makes you get up or watch or pay attention, that's when you know you're a little bit different than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they can make a real good player out of Tolbert.
Thank you.
It's funny. I mean, we were talking last week about I told you there was a podcast like Jeff Teague was on, and he was playing for the Pacers when Clay went for the 14, or he had the 37-point third quarter. And he said that at halftime they were down like, I don't know, he's like, we were still in it at halftime. We thought down 15 or something. And he said one of the other guys said, hey, look at Klay Thompson's stat line. Look at it. And then they're out. It's like, you forget these guys they love the game too. It's mesmerizing to see something that incredible, especially when you're at that level and you know how hard it is to do. I think that's the point you're making. George Kittle knows what it's like to play in the NFL, and then he's like, this guy's wild. This guy's insane. Moving on here in the Sound Soiree, and do want to make note for you. We're going to hear a cut here from Brock Purdy about Nick Bosa. I'll set that up for you in a sec. Nick Bosa going to join us tomorrow.
Can't agree more.
Nick Bosa is going to be on the show tomorrow, 3:30. Do not want to miss the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, joins Tolbert and Copes right here on KNBR tomorrow at 3:30. Here's Brock.
We're on at 3:30.
That's us. I know. I think we're going to talk to him.
Wow.
Couldn't agree more.
That's a sackaroonie, baby.
We haven't had a chance to talk to Nick, so it'll be cool to get Nick Bosa on tomorrow if you missed it. Nick Bosa, 3:30 tomorrow right here on KNBR with us. Brock Purdy, this is yesterday on the post-game interview with Greg and Tim. Here he is. He gets interrupted by Nick Bosa while he's doing the post-game interview. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better. You know, you got guys like Fred and Bosa and all the boys. And what's up, man? And here's Bosa right here.
Shit. I thought you were f***ing wearing coats.
Hey.
Picking up your swag.
No, man.
Dude, he just comes in live on the radio, drops an F-bomb, dude. He's like, yeah, you got Bosa and so-and-so. Oh, hey, I'm right here.
What's up, man? And here's Bosa right here.
Shit. I thought you were f***ing wearing coats.
Hey.
Hey. I like that it's Brock, too. It's not even Tim. Tim's not even like, easy, Nick. Pretty good stuff there. Nick Bosa, sounds like that. Maybe, hopefully. Stay on the dump button there tomorrow, Tim. 3:30, Nick Bosa joins us on The Sports Leader. How about Cam Newton? Scam Newton. Last week he had the comments about Brock Purdy being a game manager. He's got to explain them further now, Tom. This is what happens, dude. You give a statement, you get crushed. No. Here's what I meant.
You got to actually think about it and back it up with some facts.
Yeah.
Ooh, that hurts.
Or you retract it and you just flip it to the other side, but you act like you're defending what it is that you said. Here's Cam Newton. He's explaining his game manager and game changer comments. Here you go.
Game manager is not a negative connotation. Cam, what do you mean by game manager? My definition of that managing player is a player who has the ability to make the right play at the right time, protecting the football at all costs. When I think about ultimate elite game managers, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, game changer and game manager is not something where I'm saying this person is not physically capable of making some great plays. I'm not saying that. Or I am not saying that they're not good players. There's really only 3 to potentially 5 game changers in the NFL right now. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. When I see a guy like Brock Purdy, yes, did he make hell of a throws? Yes. Is he making elite decisions? Yes. But he's putting it in guys like Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey. Like, that's the point.
He's really talking himself in circles, what he's doing. I don't think he can keep up with himself.
I don't know if he knows the point he's trying to make. Peyton Manning is the best game manager of all time. Tom Brady. I do
agree with him. I do agree with him on that.
Because me, you have to manage.
Great game managers,
Agreed.
But I go, that's what half of being a quarterback
That's
is.
the job.
Maybe 90% of being a quarterback is managing the game. Like when he said, the game manager, you make the right decision in the right spot. It's like, well, yeah,
everybody wants that, right?
Do you not want that? Like, you know what? Go out there. Make some reckless decisions. That it just mix it in occasionally, just to spice it up.
I'd say Mahomes is an elite game manager with elite throwing ability.
Yeah,
like I'd say his processing is high level. I'd say his ability to make certain throws. Like, yeah, he's a game changer and he game manages. He's just talking skill sets is what he's talking about. He's saying, you notice the guys he named were all exciting quarterbacks. We're all just like, they're not guys who just sit in the pocket and wait around.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers makes incredible throws. Like. Yep. He's talking about guys that are exciting versus, I would rather have Brock Purdy than Cam Newton. Brock Purdy's already thrown more touchdowns than Cam Newton ever threw in any season in his NFL career. And he only did it one time.
Wow.
He was elite. He was an elite quarterback at the time that he was there, that he played. You furling your brow at me, Derek? You furling at the notion? Sorry, that's the one year he threw more than, Brock's at what now, 29? Sorry, I was saying yes, he will throw more than, assuming health, will throw more than Cam by the time this year's over. That's the only time Cam even crested 30, and I believe that's the only time he threw more than 24 or 25 in his career, and only threw that many twice. So what Brock's doing now is, I don't really care about Cam's opinion because he didn't even reach. He's not even reached the level of success that Brock has found at this level. So if Cam Newton was the elite type of quarterback that is a game changer, sure. But I look at him more of like the Lamar Jackson, and that if you take him off that team that team would have crumbled mightily from where they were when he was on the roster, and they're still kind of reeling from his absence, from not being set up beyond Cam Newton. Let's move on here in the Sound Soiree. Here's pregame from Thursday Night Football. This is on Amazon. So Richard Sherman said Brock Purdy was his MVP pick last week, right? Now Marshawn Lynch is on the Amazon pregame, and he's got some comments for Richard Sherman as it relates to his pick for MVP. Here's Marshawn.
And who you got? I got Brock Purdy. You know I got Brock Purdy.
Here we go.
I got Brock Purdy doing it, Sean. You know, San Francisco going to be the number one seed. San Francisco going to be the number one seed.
I got to test your loyalty.
You got to test my loyalty.
Yeah.
You test my loyalty.
Come on now, man. First of all, you know I'm a town. Yeah, one of them. I'm a town one of them. But then, come on now. You know where our allegiance lie.
Yeah. Sean.
I wouldn't give up.
Sean.
I couldn't go with nothing from Frisco.
I could.
Sean.
That's fair.
You done got a couple of dollars with him. But, hey, man.
Marshawn, he played for San Francisco.
I know he did, but where he get his bowl at?
Okay, so Marshawn.
They also cut me, Sean. That's a whole story right different day.
Look,
We ain't going to talk about the exit.
Lay of the land.
Oh, okay.
Marshawn, they asked him
Marshawn.
You asked him who his pick was. He said Purdy, and Marshawn lost his mind. I won't pick anything from San Francisco, is what Marshawn said, which he tipped my cap to. It's got a little Jackie Robinson in him, right? Traded to the Giants, and was like, I'm going to retire.
Where'd he get his bowl at?
Where'd he get his what at?
His bowl. His Super Bowl. He's talking about Sherman, because he's like, dude, that played for them. He played for him. Yeah. Marshawn goes, yeah, but where'd he get his bowl at? Because they cut me also, Marshawn. Like, it's not, I got my bowl there. They also cut me. What do you want? Like,
oh, that's hilarious.
That's hysterical, dude. So Marshawn and Richard Sherman going.
His bowl at?
Marshawn seemed like he was mad too. He just kept talking. He just kept leaving set. Was all mad about him. One more here from Shannon Sharp. The podcast these guys from ESPN and Fox are doing now are getting out of hand. Like, they're just like, I'm going to do my own thing and talk about whatever the hell I want. Shannon Sharp. He's got his Nightcap podcast. He's talking. By the way, he and Chad Johnson are hilarious when they do this stuff. They challenge. Chad Johnson saying he can bench press a certain number of weight, and they're betting $1 million on it. He goes, you can't do that. Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson, these two guys. I'll bet you $1 million I can do it right now with my shirt. Take your shirt off. Let me see. They're like, it's outrageous what they're arguing about. Anyway, it's Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson here, and Shannon's telling a sex story to both Chad Johnson. I guess he's got Deion Sanders on the pod as well. Here's Shannon Sharp telling a sex story to Deion and to Ocho Cinco.
Sexy.
This is what happened. We were having sex.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold on. Paint the whole picture now. Don't cheat me.
Yeah, don't cheat me either.
Position. You know I'm the back shop king. Oh Lord Jesus. And what I'm about to say is 1,000% true.
Talk to me, baby.
So she passed gas.
Yes, sir.
She said, excuse me. Doing? She looked back and said, excuse me. No, she. Time. She said, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to take mine off too. How's she doing? She said, excuse me. I said, that's all right, baby. I generally make them Ooh. It kept going.
Come on, baby.
Both of y'all nasty, man.
Was that Deion at the end?
In the world?
Was that Deion at the end? Deion says he's nasty after Deion, by the way, was like, hey, don't short me now. Tell me the position now. Don't short me.
I think you made your point.
All right, Deion. Deion wants to back off. He knows he's got to go sit in the living rooms and talk to moms now. That's why.
Yeah, he's like, yo, that wasn't me. I don't even know what you're talking about.
He's like, no, that wasn't me. That was a different Deion Sanders.
We're good.
That was a different prime time. Anyway, that's
nothing wrong with that groin.
That's your Sound Soiree for Monday, December 18th, 2023. We do have an update as far as the health of the quarterbacks for tonight's go. So Jalen Hurts is going to play, and we're going to throw you over there in about 8 minutes to Monday Night Football, so you get the full game here as it relates to the 49ers' hopes of locking up the number one seed in the NFC still. Seattle and the Eagles. So Jalen Hurts has been sick all week. They have not disclosed what the illness is, but he traveled separate from the team. He is going to play tonight, they say. Geno Smith, active, is not going to start. The report now is that Drew Lock is going to start the game, but there's not going to be an official announcement, it doesn't sound like. So this is a report that's come out here. So Drew Lock going to be the starter for the Seahawks. Jalen Hurts going to start for the Eagles. At least that's what's being reported, and we'll find out in about 10 minutes or so when we throw you over to Monday Night Football. We'll take a quick break, come on back, wrap it up. It's the Eagles and the Seahawks 5:15 kickoff, and it's right here on the Sports Leader.
Menlo Park, shout out to you for supporting KNBR. Menlo Park's Sports Leader.
The Warriors finally have a win streak. They survive in back-to-back wins against the Nets and the Trailblazers. There's more on that story trending now on KNBR.com and the KNBR app. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm specifically talking to the fellas here, especially because we're about, 7 days from Christmas, a week from today. You're up against it. Have you gotten the gift? Have you gotten the gift she's going to love? Have you gotten the gift for her that you're going to love when she puts it on? And then maybe when she takes it off. That's where Pajamagram comes in. That's right. Pajamagram's famous naturally nude pajamas. They're back and they're better than ever. Naturally nude pajamas. They're known for ultimate comfort, silky, sexy, smooth style, caress the body, curve caressing fit. That's what they call it. They're soft and silky. Here's the kicker, boys. When you order the naturally nude pajamas today, you're going to get a free naturally nude nightie. That's right. Extra savings for her and for you. Everybody's happy. Better yet, if you're like me and you don't like wrapping presents, they're going to wrap it for you. Gift wrapped, 2 gifts sent to your door. It's that easy, but you got to go to pajamagram.com. Guys, this is a holiday gift that's sure to make her happy. Give her the gift of PJs. Maybe she'll give you a gift that you like, too. How about that? Yeah. It says right here, hurry to pajamagram.com today for your naturally nude pajamas before they sell out. Here's what you do. Go to pajamagram.com right now and make sure you tell them that this Christmas, Adam Copeland sent you.
Where he get his bowl at?
All right, we're going to get on out of here. Send you off to Monday Night Football. The Eagles, the Seahawks from Seattle. Who's going to be the 12th man? Who's going to be the 12th man tonight?
I'm going to go with Macklemore. That's my guess.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That's a good. That's
Has
a solid
Lincecum
guess.
ever been? Lincecum's been the 12th man, hasn't he?
Has he? But when he was a Giant, maybe. Like,
I don't know.
That'd be ballsy,
I thought I remember him being up there. No, not for a Niner game.
No.
I wouldn't think.
I
thought I remember him up there one time. Maybe not. That's kind of out of character for him, isn't it?
So I was
Maybe
like,
I'm
he'd have
wrong.
to be playing. I feel like he would have had to be a Giant while it happened. Like he would have been relevant when it happened if he did it. But that would have been like in the heat of Seattle and the Niner rivalry too. Like in the thick of like in 10, 12, 14, 2010. There you go. He did it in 2010.
Did he? Okay, I thought I remembered him up there. Yeah, I thought I rememred him doing it.
Just
up
had
there.
a big old jersey, just too big for him, up down to his knees. I imagine, just soaking wet. Yeah, looking like he's like his dad's nightshirt.
Oh man, so good.
Yeah.
Man, God, be nice to hear from that guy occasionally, wouldn't it?
Dude, I like be nice to see him throw. You know what I mean? I miss that guy. I missed him, Lincecum. He was one of. I mean, he was a comet across our lives. It seemed like, and he was one of the brightest stars we ever had. It was awesome.
I don't need to see him throw anymore. I saw him throw for the Angels. I just want to have him around. Just like be fun to. That would be a fun interview.
We got the 12th man, by the way. We have who it is tonight. You ready?
I couldn't tell who it was though.
It's Golden Tate.
What?
Golden
Is that
Tate.
who it was?
And we got to get you to the game. The game's underway. They just kicked off.
Okay, cool. Let's get you to the game. Thank you very much to Brent Jones. Thank you very much to Matt Mayoko. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Tim. All you did is miss the kickoff. Let's get you ready. Monday Night Football, Eagles, Seahawks, right here on the Sports Leader. Take it away, Dirk.
Oh my God!